Welcome, all you beautiful people. We're going to have a great show today where I answer your questions in our brand new format where you can submit your questions via voice, via text, and even via video to be presented live on the show. We will all listen to it or watch it, and I will respond giving you feedback and advice on exactly what I believe you should do by abiding by the laws of do nothing for men. And the rest of you who may not have a question will get an opportunity to watch me answer someone else's question and hopefully learn from others' mistakes so you don't have to make those same mistakes. Now, some house rules just so you're all aware. Because these are all real people and all real questions, we want to make sure that when we have our comments and our criticisms and our opinions, that we have constructive criticism and we're not just being cruel to people and making crude comments about what they sound like and what they might look like and things like that, right? Let's be mindful of the fact that all of these people are real and these are all real questions and they're gonna read your comments along with listening to my answer and watching my answer as well, okay? So with that being said, make sure to submit your questions to me via the link in the pinned comment and the link in my description. And then you can send your questions to me and they will be put in our queue here. We have, since we started doing this, I'll be honest with you, we have quite a long queue. I'm not gonna cap, not gonna front, okay? There's quite a long queue here. I show you guys the queue because I don't lie about nothing, okay? So we have Noor, then Ak, then Gabby, then it goes on and on and on. So the queue is quite long, I'm not gonna lie, but you will eventually get your question answered. And I've even come up with a new solution where when I do answer your question, you should be receiving an email when I do actually answer your question so that you know exactly when I answered your question and also what show or what stream I answered your question on. So that's a new thing. We're building every day. Someone said, is the chat working? The chat is definitely working. I see you, Samantha, and shout out to you, Samantha. You were the first person on the stream today. I seen you log on and say hello, okay? I see Fabiola. Fabiola is here, C is here. I see Dio is here, Mischief is here. Welcome, Mischief's like an OG. Cece is here, Crystal is here. Welcome all you beautiful people. So good to see you and lots more to join us in the chat today. So someone said my show is on. We're gonna have a great time here. We're gonna have an absolutely amazing time. We're gonna start off with Nora, or Noor, sorry, I said Nora. It kind of looked like Noor. Noor, and Noor's question, let's click on Noor's question. Noor is 28 from the United States. So Noor's gonna ask her a question. I think this one is a text question. By the way, just so all of you are aware, whenever you see a text question, none of these are made up, these are all real people. But the reason that you're gonna hear an AI reader reading out the text question is just because it's easier for us to get through very quickly and efficiently. So don't think that because you're hearing an AI reader, that question is not from a real person. It just happens for the text questions, but of course for the voice questions, we will hear their actual voice. And for if there's a video submission, we will see and hear the actual person. This is only for the text questions where there's an AI reader, just so you are all aware. So this is Noor, 28 from the United States. Let's see what Noor has to say.
I'm a nurse, and we have a bad reputation to begin with in dating. A doctor at my work set me up with his doctor friend, who works at another hospital. It was going really well at first. We went on several fun dates that he planned out. He seemed obsessed and was talking about making me his wife, buying me lavish things, and letting me decide if I want to work or not if we end up together. It all seemed to be moving too fast for my comfort. However, after he got the cookie, his effort has declined significantly. He works 2 jobs, but that is not...
He works 2 jobs as a doctor? So I'm assuming you mean he works at 2 different hospitals? That's a lot. Okay, he doesn't really have a lot of spare time on his hands, which is not a crime, but that's interesting.
Not an excuse. Now he tries to get me to go out last minute, and I have made excuses each time. He's also texting me first, and then taking forever to respond. Is this situation cooked?
Yes. I'm not gonna mess around with you, Noor. Yes.
How can I stop beating myself up for giving it up and feeling like a Pokemon that got added to his gallery? I don't care that much at this point about if it becomes a relationship, but I want to prevent this from happening again. This is the 2nd doctor I've dated, and they seem to view me as a for fun type of girl.
Okay. So for those of you that are unaware what she's referring to when she says, because she mentioned at the beginning that nurses have a stigma, there's a stigma around nurses, for those of you that don't know, or maybe on the younger side, that nurses, they cheat a lot, and nurses have a lot of fun. Let's just put it like that. So I'm not here to comment whether that is or isn't true. What I am here to say is that is a reputation that's, kind of known around. And also, there's a reason why Grey's Anatomy is so popular, because it's not referencing events that never happen. Okay, so there's a lot of mischievous things that happen within a hospital between nurses and doctors that we won't speak of on this show. My point being, though, for you, Noor, is I think right now your new goal should be, let's stop dating men in the workplace. And I know for this particular doctor, it was one that you were set up with by someone else, but let's just stop dating people in that industry. And I know this kind of sucks, because sometimes it's like, but like, these are real people, why can't I date? Sometimes what you have to realize is, in certain industries, if you want to have a healthy relationship, it's just better to date someone not in that industry. I'll just be real with you. And I'll give you an example of an industry that is like that as well. Like, if you were a musician and you worked in music in some way, shape, or form, those are one of those industries where, let's say you're out in LA, right? And you're a musician, you're working in the music industry. You might not want to date someone who works in the music industry, just because of the culture, the way things are, the way people are. It's not that everyone is bad, but the general culture around the music industry, specifically in LA, could tend to veer towards not the healthiest relationships. And recognizing that, Noor, is an important part of recognizing, okay, how am I actually going to have success in my romantic relationships if I really want to be successful in a long-term relationships, not just, sleeping with the doctor and then the doctor discards me. So I really think your real first key issue is looking for different places to kind of date people. Again, it's like some people be like, but I would love to date a doctor. Yes, but also doctors are obviously very busy. And some of these doctors, I'll just say, they don't know how to control themselves, okay? Because they have a lot of options and a lot of people throwing themselves at them every day. And when you add in the nurse situation, it takes a very strong type of doctor man to be able to handle that and not take advantage of that, if you're getting my drift, Noor. So my point being is, your best solution here, start dating people not in that industry, okay? Let's start dating outside of that industry, because the other thing as well, as a nurse, right? It's not like you're working such crazy hours that you shouldn't have other things to do in your day or in your week. You should be able to, whether it be on a weekend or have at least 1 or 2 days free in the week, where you can do things outside of like your workplace stuff. So do that and start. It's not about, oh, you got to venture into other industries. Just start doing things that like you also have interest in outside of work, okay, outside of the hospital. Because through that, then you can meet different types of men in different types of industries and start exploring relationships with them. Now, obviously be mindful. Don't just go to a club or a bar and then be like, yeah, I'm going to meet men in different types of industries there, right? Like, try and go to places that would actually breed environments that would attract healthier people in general, okay? Not everyone's going to be perfect, but healthier people in general. Then as you build your network and you start meeting men like that, then you'll get an opportunity to meet men who may not do like the doctor does, okay? But can still be successful in their own right. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, let's go to our next question here. This one comes from Ak, who's 23 in India. Okay, let's see what Ak has to say.
I am in relationship for almost 4 years, and now it feels like he is giving me breadcrumbs. He used to be mad about me, but now he replies after like 9 hours, and physically
I'm assuming when you say mad, you mean like he used to be crazy about you. Okay.
it's all good. We are in uni, or we give in different hostels. It's almost like long distance because we can't meet unless we travel or go to a trip. But emotionally, it's very distance. It's like he doesn't care about me much now. We went to a 1-month-long trip in previous month, and we were always fighting with each other and arguing. He was playing games on his phone instead of spending time with me. All the little things is nagging the shit out of me.
Sorry, you kind of caught me off guard there. So you're with him, and actually physically with him, and he's playing games on his phone while you're with him, and it seems like you guys aren't always together, right? This is even during a trip. Okay. All right. So not a lot of not treating you like a priority. Okay.
Always fighting with each other and arguing. He was playing games on his phone instead of spending time with me. This all the little things is nagging the shit out of me, and he always deflects when I try to communicate with him or tells me that his mental health is not doing better nowadays. What should I do? I still want to be pursued and desired like I used to be.
So, okay, this is what I don't like. I'll be honest with you. What do you mean, what should you do? When someone is telling you that they're uninterested in you and they don't want to put in effort into the relationship, what do you expect me to say you should do? Do front flips and back flips? Put on a wig and a clown nose? Start doing a little dance for him? Shake your ass for him? What do you think that I'm going to tell you to do? I'm not going to tell you to do not, okay? Let me make myself very clear. Do not do a monkey dance for men to try to get them to be more interested in you when they've already decided that they're not interested in you, okay? Your job is not to do a monkey dance to get people to be interested in you. Recognize, this is, and I know this is going to suck to hear, you have to build the skill of being able to recognize when you're not someone's cup of tea, okay? That includes someone you might be dating. I talked about this on our last show. Do not date men that aren't excited to be with you. Listen to what I'm saying. Do not date men that are not excited to be with you. You will suffer, you'll feel like garbage about yourself, and you won't get really good treatment. Okay? You'll get garbage treatment. When you're with men that are excited to be with you, you won't have to go through any of this. And there is no recovering of, if he's already decided he's not excited to be with you, there is no monkey dance that you do to get him excited again. You just recognize that this relationship isn't for you and you move forward with your life. Not think about how do I do a monkey dance for the man.
I want the power dynamics to be in my hand in my relationship.
Well, then walk away from the relationship. I guarantee you'll have power then.
It's really frustrating that when I am angry, he doesn't reach out to me and he doesn't try to apologize or understand his mistakes.
Because he doesn't care. And I know I know it sounds mean when it's coming from me and I'm saying it like this, but it's the truth. Like, he does not care. I cannot sprinkle magic fairy dust on a man that doesn't care about you and make him care. I also can't give you some sort of potion or spell to use on him that he doesn't care and all of a sudden he's going to start caring. Even if you were to start twerking in his face butt naked, he probably won't care. Like when guys are in that state where they've just decided that they don't care about you, you're uninterested in them, they can't be bothered, leave them be. Let them be single. Let them go do their thing, play video games, and live their life by themselves. They will get no access to you.
Ever, and deflects so much, and when I completely stop talking to him, he starts stay better for a few days, and all these bullshit starts again. It feels like I am not his priority, and also feels like he really gets frustrated and agitated with me.
So you tell him, if you're always frustrated and agitated with me, I got the perfect solution for you. You'll never see me. You'll never hear from me. I'll never be around, and you can sit around, play video games, be by yourself, never have to have me bother you. And you want to know what's funny about that? This is the interesting part, Ak. When you decide that if I'm not welcome here, I'm not going to, feel hurt about that. I'm not going to throw a fit about that. I'm just going to walk away. That's when the men will recognize and appreciate you and say, oh, but could you come back? Oh, but I miss you. Oh, but it's been so long since we've been able to talk. And this is where you have to be strong at, because when the guys do that, you have to recognize what they were doing when you were actually present. And the fact that when you were actually available to them, they didn't show any appreciation for you. So don't be fooled by when he now all of a sudden misses you when you finally do walk away, right? Recognize the people that are excited to be with you and excited to be around you. Be with those people. Stay far away from people in general, but specifically men in romantic relationships that are not excited to be with you or want to treat you like you're a burden. Oh my God, Ak is here. Oh my God, I hate being around her. Oh my God, I have to do things with her. Oh my God, guys, I have to hang out with my girlfriend. What? If a guy's like that about you, you tell him, okay, I'm gone. You don't have to complain to no friend about hanging out with me, because I don't have time to be spending time with people who are going to make it seem like it's an obligation to spend time with me. Don't be doing that, okay? All right, this one comes from Gabby. Gabby is 36 in the United States.
Hi, Tomisin. This is Gabby from Dallas, Texas, and thank you so much for your show. I've been watching it for a couple years now. I actually found you right as I got divorced. I escaped a really toxic marriage, and I spent the last couple of years just healing and going on my glow up journey. And I'm ready to date, but I have a question. My toxic ex, he's a narcissist. He would be what some consider to be a dusty. He is also kind of like lurking in the shadows. So when I try to date, he like finds their info.
Huh?
We co
You co-parent. Okay, so he kind of has to still be in your life.
we co-parent together. So like he like uses the kids as an excuse to like try to like any friend I make, any guy that talks to me or anybody like that, he tries to like undermine and stuff. And like something I've learned in your show is that you got to like keep those things separate and save your trauma and like the things you went through to share with somebody that actually cares about you. So
Here's the other thing that I'm going to mention. I know your question's not over yet. If he is using, because it's like there's only so many ways to get info. Be mindful of the leaks. Okay, this is going to sound weird. Be mindful of the leaks in your organization. So which are the friends that are leaking this information about your love life or the people you're seeing to your ex fiance or your ex-husband, I should say? Who are the friends that could be leaking this information? Who could be possibly even the family members leaking this information? He may even be getting this information from your kids. This is going to sound very weird, Gabby, but moving forward, you're probably going to have to keep your romantic partners away from your kids. And you're going to have to keep the stories of knowing their names, knowing who they are, away from your kids. Because sometimes in situations like this, these guys, they can use the children as the mouthpiece of like, oh, so on Tuesday, what was mommy doing? Oh, she brought a man over? What did he look like? Okay, dark hair? What, do you remember his name? Oh, it was John. Okay, interesting. Okay. And then he searches up John. He sees that you've recently followed a guy named John with a similar description, and boom, he finds him just that fast. So my point being is sometimes even with family and sometimes even with your children, you have to like keep that away from them unless you get to a point where it's like that he's damn near about to propose or you guys are about to be engaged or maybe you already are engaged. Then sure, now you can start introducing him to your kids. And then if the information leaks, it's not a big deal because you've already been able to build your relationship. Because what will happen is that beginning stage is a really delicate stage. And he probably is aware of that. So the more he can do to kind of cause turmoil, shake things up, get you like, out of your flow, make your life hard, that'll be better for him because he'll know it'll be harder for you to build that relationship, especially when you don't yet have a foundation with someone. Whereas if he's meeting someone that you've already been dating for, let's just say, hypothetically 2 years, and you guys are damn near ready for the stage of engagement, now all the stuff he'll try to throw at you is not going to work because you guys already have a more solid foundation. You get what I'm saying?
So I don't share those things when I meet people. Now that I'm getting out there, I'm like meeting guys. I've gone through my divorce glow up, like I said. I like the body looks good, the hair looks good. I feel like I'm the prettiest I've ever been, and I want to get back out there and I'm excited to make friends and find a boyfriend one day. I'm having a hard time containing the fact that I have a crazy ex and shaping the narrative the way you teach me to, because the ex is involved because of the kids, and the ex goes out of his way to like get in the middle to find the guy, to text him.
No, Gabby. There are major leaks in your organization. If he is able to find their number, the guy's number, and text him. No. I do have to hold you accountable here. I cannot let this just slide past and not say anything about it. There's a difference between him, doing his little bit of FBI stalking, getting some information from the kids, and then figuring out who he is and maybe bringing him up or even sending him a message on Instagram. Sure, I can understand that concept, okay? But for this guy how does he access the number? Like, let's get for real here, okay? To even be able to access the number is insane. and then actually to proceed to text him, sure, he's crazy. I'm not saying that he's not crazy. But then my question is, there are major leaks in your organization if he's able to actually get the number and it's not coming through you. Like, there are monumental leaks, because that should never be happening. First of all, who in your friend group, who in your family, of your family member, who even has the guys that you're dating's number? Like that's number one. You're gonna have to take care of these leaks, and you're gonna have to systematically cut everyone off from knowing information about your dating. I know it sounds crazy, but this is what you're gonna have to do to really figure out where the leaks are even coming from. Because again, it's one thing for him to find their Instagram. It's another thing to say he got his number and then proceeded to text him. How is he getting this information? This is very troubling to me. And this is also making me feel like you are a bit, I'm not saying that you're giving the number, but you're also being a bit careless with the information that you're letting out and letting people have of the guys that you're dating, that he can now be able to be crazy, do FBI work, and get a number. That is very strange. Very strange, Gabby.
And say crazy things. And like, if anything, it probably makes me look like I'm unforgettable, right?
No. I'll be super honest with you, right? If I was dating a woman, and this is like a general guy thing. There's one thing about like, yeah, guys are crazy for you. You must got that fire coochie. That's one thing. But there's another line where if I'm dating a girl, okay, and I like her, she's cool, we're building a relationship, and her ex-boyfriend texts me, I'm telling you, this is like a guy like, I have stuff going on, I have a life, I'm busy, so I don't really have time for drama. I definitely don't have time for drama with someone else's ex-man. Listen, guys, I'm not trying to be mean or rude. I'm not the ghetto argue back and forth with people guy. That's not my personality. I don't do that. So if someone were to come to me and, on behalf of you, be like, I'm her ex-husband and I'm just letting you know you better stay away from Gabby. I'd be like, brother, like, I'm not competing with you for a woman, okay? If you want that woman so badly, first of all, get off my phone. You're blocked, okay? I'm not even responding to that message, because how does someone that I don't know have my number? Now it's gonna make me look at you weird. I'll be honest. I'm just telling you from like most guys' perspective will be like, you now look weird because sure, he's crazy, but why does your ex have my number? And why is he on my phone? I should never, ever, ever receive a text from a man I do not know. Calling me out, calling me by my name, calling me whatever he's calling these guys when he reaches out to them. That would be a monumental turnoff. Because again, however he got that information, even if it didn't come from you, from that guy's perspective, it seems like it came from you. Because when the guys you're dating, when they give their number to you, they're giving their number to you. I'm assuming most of the time, right? I don't assume that these guys are meeting you and then proceeding to give their number to your kids as well, right? And even still, it's like, I'm giving my number to you, and let's even say hypothetically he gives his number to one of your kids. It's like, hey, I'm giving you my number. I should never be contacted by someone I didn't agree to be contacted by. Because if I gave you my number, that means you can contact me. If I gave your son my number, that means your son can contact me. If your ex-husband is contacting me, I have a problem with you now. That's how guys will think about this. So there comes a point where it does cross a line where it's not cute anymore, right? It's just annoying. And it also makes you look very strange, where people will start questioning you and your own sanity. Because it's like, I'm just telling you how things will play in people's mind. They'll be like, did this girl go and give her ex-husband my number and then he proceeded to text me? Now it's going to make me think, how involved are they actually, that he could even have access to her phone, even if he took her phone, to even have access to her phone and even be able to get my number to text me? Or did she just actually just give the number away? In which case that also looks weird in terms of your relationship with him. Very, very strange.
It's like, this guy is going out of his way to like talk about me and to undermine things. I don't know. I just would love to get your perspective. Thank you. Your show is amazing. Love you so much. Bye.
Okay, you have to take care of these leaks. You really have to take care of these leaks. I would hope these guys aren't getting I hope your ex-husband isn't getting these guys' numbers from you. I would hope so. And if he's not, you need to take care of your organizational leaks and figure out how is it even possible that your ex-husband can have access to the guys you're talking to's number. That's the very first important thing. You need to figure out your organizational leaks, and now you need to stop telling and giving people any information. And you need to start referencing and seeing where the leaks could possibly be in your organization of your, it could be even your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister or someone, right? You're gonna have to cut everyone off from information about your love life for the next, I would probably say, year at least, just so that you can start dating from the perspective of, I'm meeting guys and I'm just meeting them and I'm just talking to them and there's no one else involved. Because this is very messy. And you will push a lot of good men away, because I'm telling you, the moment they receive that text from the ex-husband, they're gonna be like, this girl's drama. I don't wanna be a part of this girl's life. She's got way too much going on and she's way too involved with her ex-husband. The fact that he's again, it's one thing to receive a DM. Sure, we can understand how someone might track you down and send you a DM. That's one thing. It is a whole different level for your ex-husband to get the phone number of the men you're dating and send them a text. I'm also assuming an angry text, like a text like, hey, stop talking to Gabby or something like that. That is drama central. That will make you look crazy, and it'll be very hard to explain your way out of that. I don't want that for you, but I'm also making you very aware, if you don't fix the organizational leaks in your family or in your friend group, you will continue to suffer because of this. So no more talking to people about your love life. The next guy you date needs to be just you and him. Of course, you can let these guys know about your life and the things that you've been through without saying that I have a crazy ex. The ex thing, I don't even think, like, you can give them the context of your relationship, but let me just put it like this. The guys you're dating should never be even able to experience the craziness of your ex. Do you catch my drift? Like, by the time he even gets a chance to meet your ex, you guys should be so far down the line that your ex-husband couldn't even say or do anything to break you and the other guy up. That's my point. And anytime before that, this man that you're dating, why would he ever be meeting your ex-husband? Like what's the scenario in which a new guy you're dating should ever even be able to know that he's crazy by meeting him or coming across him? This is why I say taking care of your organizational leaks will fix a lot of your issues. Because why is the guy that you're dating even being contacted by your husband in the first place, that you would feel the need to preface your conversations that you have with men by saying, my ex is crazy, prepare for something weird to happen? You shouldn't have to do that, because that shouldn't even be happening. Are you following my drift? Okay. Let's go on to our next question here. Wait, what just happened? What's going on here? Okay, sorry, that took a weird loading thing. This one comes from Mira. Mira's 24 in Saudi Arabia.
Hey, Tomisin. You are such a life savior, and I'm really grateful for discovering your channel. Really, thank you so much. Anyways, I am a university student and I have been wondering, should I go for the guys my age? And if not, how do I find a man who is older than me and is working? Don't you think it's a bit weird, or no? I just want to know a guy for at least 3 years before I date him, or start
It's not weird to date older men. That's not a crime.
a relationship between him. Will the man who has a job take me seriously?
What?
I want to get married right after I get my degree and have a stable job, so I really would like to know.
Well, yes, you can definitely you can definitely date someone who's in university. That's not a crime, and it happens all the time. Now, here are the things that I would say in terms of prefacing what I'm saying by saying this first. Is there something wrong with my stream? What is going on with the stream there? Oh boy. YouTube is not receiving enough. Sorry, I hope the stream's not acting up for all of you there. That's very strange. Okay, I think it's going to return back to normal soon. It seems like there was just like a weird error. Okay, sorry, so as I was saying, Mira, for you can obviously date a university student. That's not like something that's weird or never happens. But even with dating a university student, what you want to make sure of is he a man with a plan? Does he know what he wants? Does he know, okay, and this is going to sound weird, but in university, there's a vast majority of people who are going to university and actually don't have a plan for their lives. Like, they're going to university as a default because it's like they feel that their parents wanted them to go to university, and so they went to university and they studied arts, or they studied, I have a couple of friends like this is no diss if you study this, but I have a couple friends that studied poli-sci in university. Tell me if you know someone who studied poli-science in university. And they have jobs completely unrelated to poli-science because it was just like something they did because it sounded good to get a degree in, but they never really stopped to think about, okay, what am I going to do after my poli-science degree? Am I actually going to get into politics? Probably not. So then what's the actual purpose of the degree, right? But these are part of the things that what you'll realize is in university, a lot of people aren't necessarily thinking about. A lot of people are just more focused on going to university and getting a degree, right? And then after that, it's like, okay, well, now it's time to figure my life out. So if you are going to date someone in university, date someone who actually has a plan for after university. Because especially for you, Mira, you're saying that you want to get married right after you get your degree. So you definitely need someone who has a plan on how he's going to make money and what career he's going to get into after his degree. So that's one of the questions, or those are part of the things you need to be learning about the men that you do date if they're in university, is what is their plan directly after university. If they're telling you they're studying political science and they're just kind of, they'll see what happens, but they low-key like to do music, but they also like the arts, and they're trying to build a different business in a totally different industry. It's like, okay, so you're going to be figuring things out after you graduate university. That's not a crime, but also based on your timeline, that's not going to work for you. Because someone who's trying to figure things out after university is obviously not at all going to be in the financial place to get married. So you have to be cognizant of what place will he be in financially and career-wise after he graduates if I'm dating someone who's currently in university now. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's go on to our next question. Our next question comes from Sarah, who's 23 in Canada. Okay, let's see what Sarah has to say.
Hi, hope you're having an amazing day.
I
I'd
am.
really value your perspective on something I've been thinking about. I recently ended a 2-year relationship and engagement.
Ooh.
My fiancé was 2 years older than me and expected me to leave university, become a stay-at-home wife, and eventually have children. That experience
The stay-at-home wife thing isn't bad. The concern part is leaving university, because what happens if you don't end up with him? Now you have no degree, okay? So you should have said to him, hey, have no problem being a stay-at-home wife. I'm gonna get my degree though.
stay-at-home wife, and eventually have children. That experience clarified something for me. I want marriage and a family, but I don't want either to come at the expense of my autonomy, education, ambitions, or sense of identity.
That's exactly what it should be. That's what you 100%. That's what it should be. You did not make a bad decision by feeling like you need to keep your autonomy, your ambitions, and your sense of identity. Because when you become a mother, being a mother is great. I'm not saying being a mother is not bad, is a bad thing, even though I've never been a mother. But I can imagine being a mother is amazing. But my point being is, being a mother is not your identity, right? Like, you are a mom, but you are also Sarah. So you have to understand and know and be very familiar with who Sarah is outside of being a mom, because at a certain point in your children's lives, they will grow up, be adults, and they'll build their own family, and they won't need you anymore. So if you have built your whole identity around being a mom and you haven't discovered who Sarah is, you'll be very disappointed in the second half of your life when your kids grow up and they don't need you anymore. It's just the reality.
Autonomy, education, ambitions, or sense of identity. It also made me reconsider how I used to approach relationships. I once idealized romantic love and was quite dependent on the feeling of being loved and understood. I now see that some of what I was looking for in a relationship was actually something I needed to develop within myself. I'm also very feminine in how I present myself. I love pastels, pearls, and traditionally feminine clothing, but my values aren't particularly traditional when it comes to independence. I've noticed that people sometimes interpret femininity as passivity, which has made me think about how much our appearance influences the expectations others place on us. At the same time, I see traditional gender roles and red pill ideas becoming increasingly influential among Gen Z. Interestingly, I often feel more intellectually and
Don't concern yourself with what the people are thinking and doing that aren't the people you're trying to be in a relationship with. I see this all the time where people are like, but what if I meet a man and he's red pill? Okay, so don't date that man. Like, what if I meet a man and he wants 50-50 and I want a traditional provider? Okay, so don't date that man. And if he tells you he wants 50-50, get up and leave the date. Like it, and also it doesn't require you to be upset at the man. You say, thank you. I appreciate your perspective. I appreciate your preferences. Those are not my preferences though. So rather than us waste time on the date, yapping about nothing when we're not gonna be together or work in a relationship, I'm gonna get up off this date. I'm going to go and leave and go home. And you get to go home. You can have both boxes for the food so that you don't feel like I took you for your, the food. And you go home, you spend your time alone, and then hopefully you'll find someone that you can date that feels the same way that you do about the type of relationship dynamic that you want. And I will hope to find someone who feels the same way that I want for the type of relationship dynamic I want. It's not something where you have to be like, but what happens if 150 men or 90% of men are they're red pill now because of our generation? Okay, so you don't date those men. You're only going to be with one man anyways. I mean, I'm assuming that's the plan. So why does it matter if these people are thinking this way and it's not how you think?
Emotionally compatible with men in their mid-30s. However, I'm conscious that an age difference can create an asymmetry in experience, resources, or power, so I'm not convinced that older necessarily means more compatible. So my question is, am I looking for an unusually specific combination of values that is simply less common at 23?
No, you're creating a narrative that the values you're looking for are uncommon. I'm not going to say that every guy feels the same way as you, but that's like saying, is everyone successful? No, right? Like you're thinking of life in a strategic, logistical way. Some people, they don't think at all. So I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of people, they don't think at all. So in that sense, yeah, you're going to meet people who have no idea what they're doing. You're going to meet people who have no direction. You're going to meet people who haven't thought once about what they want in life. So for sure, from that standpoint, it'll be less common. But are there people who feel the same way as you? 1,000%. Now, is that going to be every single person you meet, every single guy you go on a date with? No.
Or am I mistaking a difference in age for a difference in maturity and compatibility? And more broadly, can femininity, traditional family aspirations, and personal autonomy genuinely coexist within the same relationship without one eventually undermining the others?
Yes, it can. But obviously, I'm just going to be real with you. If you're going to be, because it sounds like you're someone who you know what you want, you have goals, like you're going to be successful. Like you have the mindset and the focus. As long as you stay consistent, you're going to be successful. Now, here's the, I'll be honest with you, real issue. As a successful woman with goals, directions, you know what you want, you have a sense of identity, I'm going to be real with you. There will be a good percentage of men who don't have that. They don't have a sense of identity. They don't know what they want. They don't even have a lot of money to their name, and they don't do anything about it. Instead, they sit on the video games and play GTA 6. So my point being is you will intimidate those men, okay? The men without a plan, the men without direction will be intimidated by you because you have that for yourself. You can imagine the man should be the one leading that charge. So the fact that you already have that and they have no idea how to even get there will be very intimidating to them, in which case you might be unattractive to those men, or you might possibly intimidate those men and cause them to push them away. But at the end of the day, Sarah, you don't even want to be with those type of men. So you should actually be happy and embrace the idea of, hey, when I meet men, I'm going to be honest about the fact that I still want my self-identity and my autonomy, and I want to build my career, and I know what I want, and I know where I'm going. And allow that to attract the people who also feel that same way and agree with you, and allow that to deter the people who you don't want to be with anyways. That's why I say, sir, your perspective will greatly change how you approach this and how you feel about it. It is amazing to know exactly what you want and exactly what you want for your future, because you can proudly express that to people on a date, specifically the men that you go on a date with. And you can proudly express that knowing that the person I'm supposed to be with will hear that and it'll be music to their ears. And the person or the people that I'm not supposed to be with will hear me say these things and they will be repulsed by it. And that is amazing, because I will waste so much less time on the wrong men by trying to dim myself or hide what I really want or hide the type of relationship dynamic that I want, and then hoping that these men will like me enough that, they'll be on the same page. No, why waste time like that? Say it loudly, say it proudly, and I promise you, the men that are on the same page as you will be like, high five, I feel the exact same way. And you guys will actually be able to get along because there are no issues in the way that you feel, right? Versus the men without a plan, the men on GTA 6, they don't even have $60 in their bank account. The men who talk about they want to be a millionaire, but they don't do nothing about it. Those men will hear you say that, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't know about that. You're doing a lot. I don't know. I don't have that big of expectations for myself," right? Which is great. You don't need to worry about, and this is part of the undoing that I tried to do for you all in our community and in my videos, is stop worrying yourself about the men that you don't want. Let's concern ourselves with aligning ourselves, being aware of, putting you in the environment of the men that you actually do want. All the rest of the men that aren't in alignment with you, why do we care what they think? Why do we care what they're doing? Why do we care to appease them? Why do we care to be attracted to them? You don't need to be at all. And you'll still be happy. Okay, does that make sense, sir? Let's go on to our next question. This one comes from Leah. Leah is 37 in Argentina.
Hi, Tomisin. I wanted to tell you about something that happened to me while traveling because I'd really love to hear your take on it. I met this man while I was traveling.
Hold on. This sounds like it's going to be bad. Hold on. Just going to prepare myself mentally.
He was staying in the same place as I was. One evening, we happened to be in the kitchen at the same time, started talking, and ended up cooking.
What do you mean? What do you mean staying in the same place? What does that even mean? Like a hostel? What do you mean he was staying at the same place that I was, but I didn't know him? Is this a hostel, chat? What is that?
Place as I was. One evening, we happened to be in the kitchen at the same time, started talking, and ended up cooking together, having dinner, and talking for hours. We went outside to the patio, came back inside, kept talking. It turned into this incredibly long after-dinner conversation, until eventually, things happened between us, including a lot of pineapple.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. I'm going to get up. 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 Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Leah, why would you... Leah, on a trip with a guy... So, this is actually even worse than I... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You met this guy... It's the same day you met him. It's the same day. On a trip. In a hostel. The same day you met him. You don't even know this guy's last name yet. The same day you met him. Leah, come on. Come on. The same day you met him. In a hostel. Because he was cooking spaghetti in the kitchen. Come on, man. Let me stretch my back out, man. Like, it's Leah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The same day you met him. Because he's cooking up spaghetti in the hostel. Come on, man. Like, you can't live like this. Genuinely, you can't live like this. I'm not saying that you can't vibe with someone, that you meet on a trip, but you can't live like this. Come on. There's no vibe that should cause you to have sex with someone you met in a hostel same day. Come on. Like, we gotta tighten up here. I know you're horned up. I know libidos can be high and things like that, but come on. I'm not rolling.
To this incredibly long after-dinner conversation, until eventually, things happened between us, including a lot of pineapple. There was a lot of connection and chemistry between us. And throughout the whole night, he was incredibly sweet and considerate with me.
Yeah, of course he's going to be sweet and considerate with you when he sees that you're so lubricated, you're leaking through your panties. When he sees that it's dripping down your leg, when he sees that there's a wet spot on your jeans, of course he's going to be very sweet and considerate because he knows if he plays his cards right, this night will end really good for him. Yeah, of course he's going to be sweet and considerate. For sure. Most guys would be very sweet and considerate when they see a wet spot in your jeans.
And throughout the whole night, he was incredibly sweet and considerate with me. The next day, I had to leave and go back to my country. I honestly didn't expect to hear from him again, but he asked for my phone number and then actually texted me.
Okay.
After that, he started messaging me every single day. Good morning messages, chatting during the day,
What's going on here?
asking me lots of questions about my life, my family, my previous relationships, etc. It really felt like he genuinely wanted to get to know me. He also told me lots about his life. I felt there was something more than just physical attraction.
Let me tell you what this is. This is Leah. Okay. Okay. I want you to hear me. It's gonna sound mean what I'm about to say, but I just want you to hear me. I'm just gonna give you like the raw, honest, like real. For men, sometimes after you have sex with a girl, so good and so spontaneous, you're on a high. Still, right? Like, because even you, like, you're shocked by yourself as a man. Damn, I did that. Damn, I was at the hostel cooking up spaghetti, not thinking I was gonna be able to do nothing, nothing crazy, not even planning nothing crazy. She pulls up, I'm cooking up spaghetti. I sweet talk her into sleeping with her that night. And when I tell you I bust that down, I bust that down. And the high is coming off of the fact that he's still remembering the situation and everything that happened. But what happens is, in situations like this, is after that high wears off, which is usually about a couple of weeks, right? They get back down to earth, which is, okay, that was great, and it was a really great moment. And I've been fantasizing about that moment and whacking off to that moment for the last couple of weeks. But now the memory's starting to fade, because now that was like 3 weeks ago. Now it's like 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. And so it becomes a little bit less intense of a feeling and of a memory. And then he starts also realizing, like, because in conversation with you, it'll be like, hey, when are you pulling back up? Or when are you going on your next trip? Or where is your next trip? And where is his next trip? And then he starts realizing, I'm probably not going to see her for a long time. And I'm definitely not going to her country, because I already smashed, she better come to mine. And then he starts realizing, not that big a deal. Like, it was great. Definitely was a great memory, like super awesome memory, a story I'll always be able to tell. But then it's like, I'm not really going to see her, and I'm not really trying to build a relationship with her like that. That's usually how it ends up.
I felt there was something more than just physical attraction. And then during those days of talking, he said some pretty intense things. He told me that he still couldn't understand what had happened between us.
I told you. He's whacking off to the fantasy of like, bro, is my game that crazy? Can I pull that crazy? I'm in the hostel cooking up spaghetti and I smash on a whim on a random Tuesday night in a random... He's shocked at his own game. Like, he's shocked at how good he is.
Because it had been so powerful for him. He said he wanted...
You guys know I'm a man, right? You guys know I'm a man, right? So when I tell you these things that men are thinking, you guys know I'm a man, right?
Powerful for him. He said he wanted to see me again, that he missed me, that he'd never met another woman like me, etc. So obviously I thought, okay, something meaningful happened here. And then suddenly, on day 8, he disappeared.
Yeah.
Day 9.
I was even saying a couple of weeks. By the way, chat, for any of you guys thinking, oh, you probably know that because you read the message ahead of time and that's how you know. Nope. I don't read these messages ahead of time. I don't listen to them ahead of time. I just play them and I go as I feel what is happening. I make a comment about it. So when I said that earlier, I did not know that this was going to happen. In fact, this happened earlier than I anticipated. This is only day 9. And I was saying a couple of weeks.
Nothing. Then on day 10, he suddenly came back with something like, hey, it's been a while. Everything okay? And now I'm sitting here thinking, what just happened? Was I briefly ghosted? Am I just too intense for thinking that? Given the whole sequence, the intensity, the daily contact, all the things he said, and then suddenly disappearing for 2 days and casually coming back as if nothing happened. I'd really love to hear how you would interpret this behavior, because I genuinely don't know whether I'm looking at a guy who got overwhelmed, a guy who suddenly lost interest, someone who is dealing with his own stuff, or something completely different.
Leah, I'm gonna be real with you, right? What it's really about, and this is gonna sound very trivial, it's about wanking off to the fantasy of, damn, my game is crazy. Damn, that was a random night. And also, it's like, you have to also understand, I know this is gonna sound weird as well, like, part of the fantasy is not just like in his own game and thinking, damn, that like I'm really good. It's also in the fact that like, it is fantastical and almost like a corn movie to just meet you and like actually execute that same night. I'm not saying you guys didn't have good conversation. What I'm saying is it's very corn movie-esque. So what he's excited about when he got home was the corn movie fantasy of like, I really just met a girl and I just literally, as I met her, I just had a conversation with her, then I was pulling her panties to the side and then I was eating her butt. And he's remembering and, you know, going back on the fantasy, which is what's actually exciting him to think about how crazy and intense that was. He's not, and this is gonna sound weird, but like, because he's aroused, he's not actually wanting you. He's just, you're tied to the fantasy that he got to experience that was so unexpected. So his excitement is being expressed about that fantasy to you as like, oh, maybe he's interested in actually building something. He's not. He just wants to like, it's like he's still off of the high of the fantasy that he's like, damn, I need to text you to make sure that was really real. Cause like, did we really do that? Like I really, bro, pulled up and I was cooking spaghetti in the hostel and we really had crazy sex. I was eating your butt, you're licking my gooch. And so it's like reliving off of the high of the situation. But like I said, after that high kind of wears off, it takes a couple of days, sometimes a couple of weeks. It's like, okay, yeah, it was great, but like I have work now, I have stress, you know, people are stressing me out. My mom's asking me to do things, you know, I have a bunch of stuff to do. So now you know, it was great, it's a memory, super vibe, but also like I'm never gonna see that girl. I don't live in the same country as her, nor am I gonna visit her country, and we're probably not gonna just randomly meet in a mutual country. So that's where that high wears off. And then they start to say, there's just no point in even texting you. Again, I'm not trying to be mean to you, Leah. I'm just trying to help you understand from his perspective why you experienced that from him. The contacting you was never about wanting to be with you. It was the high off of that fantasy. Because it is a fantasy. Like, you have to understand, like, even though, you know, there's certain guys that have confidence that like, I can pull any girl. But there's certain guys that, you know, the mid-tier guys are like, hey, you know, I think I'm a decently attractive guy. But they don't think of themselves as the guy who could, you know, random night on a trip, one-on-one, you know, just meet a girl, vibe with her, have sex with her that same night. Most guys don't even think that they have that level of like pull. So you have to understand how fantastical it is for him to even be able to execute on that like that. Like, again, he's shocked with himself at the execution of actually being able to do that. You're just part of the story of like, damn, that was crazy. Just being real with you. Okay. All right, this is Joy27 from India.
Hi, I am Joy. I am dating a guy casually. I don't know if it's casual, but when I am with him, it all feels good. We go shopping, sometimes cook together, wash dishes. I have been with him ever since I moved to this new city. Now I got comfortable. Since we didn't define what it is, I don't know how to initiate this conversation. We cuddle before and after sex. There was one time I cried because I felt he was taking me for granted. He hugged me, consoled me until I stopped. So I'm not sure where this is going. He'll never say he misses me. He just says, come back soon from your hometown, or come soon to my place. There's this movie I want you to watch. Since initially we bonded over a love for movies and music. We both are cinephiles and music lovers to the core. I met him through Bumble. So I don't know. But I want to initiate and ask questions. Does he treat every other casual relationship this long? Or how does it go? But I am not sure if I can, or if he likes me even, or just keeping me around because he is extroverted.
Big reveal here. If you're confused about whether or not a guy likes you, he probably doesn't. At least not enough that it really matters to be in a relationship with him. I'm just being real with you. Like, I know this is a big question in women's minds sometimes, but guys make it fairly clear when they like you. I mean, they at least do things for you to the point where you'll be like, damn, he's really inconveniencing himself for me. He's really going out of his way for me, which is also guys' way of communicating that they like you. But if you're ever confused because you're like, damn, he doesn't really seem that interested, he doesn't do that much for me, it's not like he goes out of his way for me or anything like that, probably he's not that into you.
Good with communication, and I am easy to hang out with. I
What does
am
that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean, Joy?
very confused about him. I know when you are confused about someone, they are not the person. But now I get anxious suddenly if one day texts are too much, other days they aren't. He'll share everything mostly with me. New things he got.
How would you even know that he's sharing everything with you and not also with other people?
Something that he messed up, or if he's going for vacay, etc. Details. This doesn't feel casual, but I don't understand.
Sorry, this doesn't. Okay, Joy, I'm going to keep it simple for you, right? If this man is not making it clear that all of this that you're doing, we go shopping sometimes, we cook together, wash dishes, I've been over at him, since I've moved and now I got comfortable. When is the part where you say, we are doing this because we have had a conversation that it is explicitly because we are building a long-term serious relationship? That is not a conversation that should have, that is a conversation that should have happened. When you're in the right place in a relationship, when as you're doing things with the person, you know why you're doing them. The reason you're confused, Joy, is you don't even know why any of this is happening. When things are good, you don't even know what they're good for. Like, we're good to do what with all of this good? Even when things are going bad, you don't even understand how are we supposed to be fixing this based on our situation and what we're striving for. You have no North Star. Absolutely none. And I'm not going to say it's all your fault. What I'm saying is part of the reason you have no North Star is because he has not made it too explicitly clear to you that you guys are even doing any of this for the purpose of building a long-term serious relationship, which is why I want to warn you that this is a complete waste of your time if you're hanging out with him without him exclusively mentioning that this is all for the purpose of building a long-term serious relationship. Here's a newsflash, Joy and everyone else. You do not spend time or energy on men who do not make it very clear that the reason you guys are spending this time together and doing stuff together and going out together is to build a long-term serious relationship. I'm not saying he needs to marry you tomorrow, but what I'm saying is when you guys are getting to know each other, there should be an understood purpose, and the purpose should be understood and agreed upon by both of you. If you are ever spending time with a man and you don't understand the purpose of why you guys are even spending time together, leave that man and leave that situation. There should always be clarity in your mind of what is the purpose of the time that I'm spending. Joy, the moment you feel you don't understand the purpose of the time you're spending, you are wasting your time. That goes for life, and that definitely goes for relationships with men. All the time you spend should be accounted for. You only have so much time in life. You never ever allow yourself to be in a situation where you cannot account for time because you cannot attribute a purpose to the time that you're spending. You're just hanging out. You don't have time to just hang out. If a man wants to take you on a date because he's trying to get to know you and build a long-term relationship, cool, that's fine. But if that's not the reason that you guys are spending time together, you do not have time to hang out. You need to be doing things for yourself. You need to be hanging out with your family or your girlfriends or your whoever's, building your career, doing your passions, whatever it is that you do for yourself, and not just casually spending time with random people, aimless for no reason. Because the problem is, Joy, you could do this for 2 or 3 years. And then after 2 or 3 years, you'll be like, hey, so are we going to get married now? And he's like, no, actually, I'm going to get a girlfriend and it's not going to be you. In fact, I already started dating one and it's not you. And I'm really happy with her. And I've just been spending time with you as like a placeholder. And then you'll be really upset. I don't want that for you. Okay. Let's go on to this question. This one comes from Mania, 23 in Bangladesh.
Hello, Tomisin. I just gonna make it really short. I was in a relationship when I was really young. My boyfriend was young too, like we're basically high school sweetheart. But when I grew into adult, I realized that I wasn't really attracted to him, even though he was like the perfect man on paper, the perfect mentality, and all the things that a boyfriend should do. He was that. But since I wasn't really attracted to him, I break it off and then I go on into another relationship. But it was completely different than my previous one. He was my classmate, and I did a lot of stupid things at the beginning. Like, he wasn't really initiating or labeling things up, but I was the one who was taking initiative, telling him, like, do you want to be my boyfriend or not? Yes, I know it sounds stupid, but I was in a very love bomb situation. He love bombed me a lot, and since I was never attracted to a man previously, I really thought that this guy is the one. So I was really eager in this situation, but later on I realized that he is just an energy vampire. He's just basically a shy guy, okay? And we all know what shy guys do, but fast forward, I realized he was a covert narcissist, and I have gotten into a trauma bond situation. And for the last 5 months, I've been recovering from that and trying all the healing and recovering. But I sometimes do feel like I have lost the will to live, and I find everything pointless. Like, I go around with my other girlfriends and try get into different kinds of jobs and do all sorts of things, studying and everything, going out, taking pictures and everything. But at the end of the day, I feel like there is no point in this life. Like, I also sometimes think about my first relationship where the guy was very good to me, but I wasn't really attracted to him. And for that particular reason, I feel very guilty. So I want to ask you, like, how can I feel not guilty for the first ex of mine, and how can I recover from my classmate who was my second ex, and I have to see him every day, and it just gives me flashbacks of how bad he treated me. Seeing him every day in class really spikes up my cortisol and gives me all those bad memories.
So, Manya, I think this is a continuation of your other message, because I think you did send in a message that was similar to this, but I think it's just you're expanding on it. What I'll say is there is definitely a point to living. Now, what I'll also say is make it a challenge for yourself to find things that get you excited, right? And that's part of the purpose of life. Like, not everything is for everyone, and not everything is going to get everyone excited equally, but you are going to have your own unique individual passions that genuinely get you excited. And part of your discovery in life and your growth in life is exploring life enough to find those things that actually get you excited. And I promise you, I know your first response is gonna be, no, there's nothing that gets me excited. I don't get excited about nothing. Everything is dull, everything is great. Once you do enough exploring, you will find something that gets you excited where you're just like, you know what? I didn't know what to expect going into that, but that was kind of fun. Run with that feeling. But that only starts when you try things, okay? The worst thing you can do when you're in this place mentally is to say, okay, I feel like there's no purpose to life. I don't see any point in doing anything, and then you just do nothing. Non-action is always the worst action, so to speak, right? When you have non-action, nothing changes, nothing happens, and everything stays the same. So you have the same pain, you have the same trauma, you feel the same internally, like everything sucks now and everything will suck 3 years from now. So my point being is it starts with action. It starts with saying, if I'm going to feel better, the only way to feel better is to start trying things and figuring out what it is that I actually enjoy. And it doesn't, when I say passions, it doesn't have to be like, I'm going to, open a homeless shelter and I'm going to save world hunger and stop world hunger, like, and make the world peaceful again. It doesn't have to be that. It can literally be the smallest little thing, like starting a garden. It can be something very, very simple and small for you that brings you joy. Just start there. But at least when you start there, you can start discovering, okay, these are things that bring me joy. These are things that make me happy. I'm noticing as well that a lot of your happiness, if we think about your happiness like a bubble, I'm noticing that a large percentage of that bubble is housed by who you are or aren't dating and what your relationship status is with those men and how things are going with them. I'm not saying that your relationship status shouldn't bring you some sort of happiness, but what I'm also saying is that should not be majority of the bubble. In fact, that should be a minor part of the bubble. The largest portion of the bubble should be things that you have for yourself that nobody can take away from you. Those are the things that create your own unique identity. And when I say nobody can take them away from you, if you're in a relationship, obviously, if you're not in a relationship with that person anymore, then you kind of lose out on your ability to derive happiness from that relationship. But if majority of your happiness comes from your own identity in things that you're passionate about, things that you enjoy, things that you do as hobbies, your friendships that are not friendships based around romance, friendships that are more long-term, then what can happen is when you're going through the ups and downs of being in a romantic relationship, you don't feel like you're on an emotional roller coaster. Now, as it relates to your ex that you see every day in class, I already recommended this to you, so I hope you listen to that message. But what I'll recommend to you now is you must go to your, whether you call it your guidance counselor or your admin, because I think you're in university, right? You're 23. So in university, go to the admin office. Like I'm talking, today is Thursday, go to the admin office tomorrow. Okay? Admin office tomorrow. Head in there, tell them I have an emergency situation that I must change my class schedule to something different. You don't need to give me different classes. I just need a different time. Okay? Tell them it is an absolute emergency. It cannot wait till the weekend. It cannot wait till later. There's no oh, we'll do this. No, this needs to get changed today. I'm trying to tell you, because it's affecting my mental health greatly, this is an emergency. I need an emergency transfer to a new class. Make it very clear to them how serious this is. And I promise you, they will make an adjustment. That way, at the very least, you can stop seeing this guy every time you go into class. That will at least get you on the path to feeling better, okay? Which can be done. Trust me, things can always be adjusted, all right? They can put you in a different class, and mental health is real. We're in 2026. So they will understand when you say this is a mental health emergency, I need to be transferred to a different class, right? They might ask you what the reason is. If you want to explain it to them, explain it to them. At least so they understand it's an emergency, I need to get transferred. Get yourself in a different class, right, at a different time that still works for you, but at least is not the same class where you're going to be seeing him all the time. Just go ahead and do all of the classes at once. So none of the classes you have are also with him where you're seeing him. And from that point forward, if you ever notice when you walk into a class, because I'm assuming you're at university, you're going to be at university for a couple of years. If you ever walk into a class and he's there, immediate transfer. Just don't waste time. Don't try and deal with it. Don't try and, oh, maybe I'll work through it. Immediate transfer. Make your life easy and simple. I'm not saying that you're living your life around him. Don't think of it like that. Give yourself sanity. Give yourself peace of mind. And if you know that this is bothering you every single day, don't put yourself in that position where you're constantly feeling like garbage because you're seeing him and it's just bringing up all of those bad memories. Okay? All right, let's go into our next question. This one comes from Tanisha, 47 in the United States. When I was living in Indiana, I used to have, well, she wasn't my friend. She was just an older girl that, she was a very interesting girl in my neighborhood when I was young, when I was like 12 and stuff like that. So that name always stands out to me. She was very reckless. All right, let's go on to Tanisha's question, 47 in the United States.
How long should it take for a man to ask for your number on dating sites? Once you give a man your number, how long after talking on the phone should he plan a date, or if he's out of town?
First of all, I don't like meeting men on dating sites, okay? Now, the other thing, okay, if he's going to ask for your number on a dating site, this is my ideal scenario, okay? I don't think it needs to take more than 24 hours of conversation on a dating site to move to let's go on a date. Does that require a number? Maybe. It'll probably be easier to plan the logistics. My point being is, let's say hypothetically you're moving with intention on a dating site, and he's also moving to intention. Once you match with someone, the whole purpose of matching with them is to meet them in real life. So why does it take more than 24 hours to start planning and scheduling meeting them in real life? Now, I know this is going to be concerning to you, Tanisha, because you're going to be like, well, that would mean that every man I match with, I'm basically giving my number out. We've come across a very interesting crossroads in dating apps, haven't we? Are you moving with intention on the dating apps? Or are you just swiping right on men without really reading their profile, without really understanding who they are, what they're about? You see how that works, right? If you're actually going quality over quantity, of course, some men that you match with, maybe they might be a little bit of a weirdo. That's why I'm saying 24 hours of conversation, you'll get a sense if someone's a weirdo or if there's someone where it's like, hey, like we can meet, you don't seem like you're that weird. But if you're matching with 55 people a day, of course, you're gonna be like, hey, I can't give my number out to everyone. You see how that works? This is why I say, right, with dating apps, if you're going the quantity over quality way, well, everything is gonna start snowballing out of control very quickly. So Tanisha, for you, that would also mean that you have to move with intention and you shouldn't be matching with people that you don't genuinely see yourself actually with. God forbid, you're matching with someone because you're horny. Never get on a dating app when you're horny. Never, okay? Because what will happen is you're gonna match with people that maybe you would have sex with, but maybe you're just like, I probably wouldn't actually date you. So what's the point, right? Be very intentional on your dating apps, and I don't think it should take more than 24 hours, assuming you're able to have some decent conversation in that 24 hours, that you move into like actually meeting up. Because again, Tanisha, you only have a limited amount of time. Why chit chat with people that you're not gonna, I'm telling you, these dating apps are like hell on earth. They're literally like hell on earth. I really mean it. Because it's like you chit chat with like 20 people about nothing. About nothing. I don't think you all understand how much that pisses me off. I hate chatting with people about nothing. I hate it. I can deal with small talk in the workplace and stuff like that, whatever. But like, I hate texting people about nothing, especially when I know we're not going to meet up. It pisses me off so much because very quickly I'm just aggravated because I'm like, bro, if we're not meeting up, why are we having this conversation? Right? Like if we're not really, like if we're just casually having this conversation because we're both bored, like this is just all pointless and it really makes me mad. Okay? So I want you to feel that same way, right? Like use your time and energy wisely. And if you're not meeting up with these men, you shouldn't even, if you're not planning to meet up with these men, you shouldn't be matching with them. If you don't think that they're going to be a good partner, you shouldn't be matching with them. And if you do match with them, it only really takes 24 hours of conversation to start moving into the next stage and actually meeting up, not just chit-chatting forever. Okay, I hate chit-chat. That goes nowhere. Okay, it's very, very pointless and very, very annoying. Let's go on to our next question before I get upset. This one comes from Chloe. Chloe's 20 in the United Kingdom.
Hey, Tomisin. My question isn't necessarily about a specific man, but more advice. I got out of a relationship just over a year ago, which was insanely toxic, and have completely healed and taken the time to work on myself and level up. This includes things like staying abstinent, decentering men entirely, and just not interacting romantically with the male gender whatsoever. During this time, I have found myself and completely fallen in love with myself in a way in which I've never experienced before. It feels amazing. I've done the shadow work, journaling, and learning to navigate through my trauma so I can release it.
This is awesome.
I was just wondering if you have any advice for me for once I do decide to enter back into the dating pool, or even just any advice for this journey I'm on. I'm not in a rush to get into another relationship, and I'm perfectly content alone. Some people have told me that it's not a good idea to completely cut off men because I'm still young and in my early 20s, but I don't see the big deal. Thank you so much. Your advice has truly helped me in my journey.
Okay, Chloe, great question. The way that you do this properly, right, is now everything is about living with intention in every aspect of your life, okay? So you already are growing in terms of your own self-identity with intention. That's great. Now, when you get back into the dating world, everything should be with intention, meaning everything is for a reason. You don't do casual hookups, obviously, right? And when you do meet men, the first question on your mind, and this is what I talk about in my private community, is alignment. Based on what I want for my future, based on who I am and what I need and what's important to me and my morals and values, when I meet a man and I go on my very first date with him, even when I start having a first conversation with him, I always, on an ongoing basis, need to be asking myself and checking in with myself, are me and this man in alignment? Because if we were to get into a relationship right now and he has his way of living and his preferences and his desired, future of a relationship. And I have my way of living and my preferences and my future desired way of being in a relationship. Are those two futures even in alignment? Meaning, are we moving in the same direction? Because if you get into a relationship with someone, and let's say hypothetically you want a traditional relationship where your man goes to work and he provides and you're a stay-at-home mom, and then the guy you're dating wants 50-50 where you're going to be going to work and you're going to be paying the bills. Going on a date, even going on one date, even going on 2 dates is a waste of time. Because no matter how long you date, if his desired outcome is to be in a relationship that's 50-50 and your desired outcome is to be a stay-at-home mom with a provider man, well then you guys are not moving in the same direction. In fact, as you're growing as individuals, you're growing away from each other because you're moving in opposite directions. So my point being is it's all about alignment. Understanding what it is you want, what it is you need, what it is you want in a man, and what it is you want in a relationship. And then when you meet men, you're not trying to change them. You're not trying to convince them to think of it your way and see it from your perspective. All you're doing is observing, and this is exactly what I go through step by step in my private community. You're observing their character traits, you're observing who they are, you're observing how they treat you, you're observing how they go about their own life, to then say to yourself or answer the question to yourself of, are me and this guy in alignment? And then if you ever get to a place where you're like 100% me and this guy are not in alignment, or I know for a fact we're not in alignment in general, then you don't waste even a second more of your time on that guy. That's how you live your life. Make sense? Let's go on to our next question here. This one comes from Sierra. Sierra's 21 in South Africa.
Hey, Tomisin. Firstly, thank you for all your advice, and your videos have helped me a lot. I've been experiencing difficulty. I was dating a guy, he wasn't my type, I felt sorry for him, and I found out he cheated on me. My intuition told me something wasn't right. I prayed, I fasted, and after a Sunday service after church, I received naked view one's pics of my BF and his ex. He told me
God then delivered you the spiritual nudes of your ex, or your boyfriend at the time and his ex after Sunday service?
Sunday service after church, I received naked view one's pics of my BF and his ex. He told me not to worry about them from an unknown number. And the caption said, "I'm with your so-called man." I was very...
Is this a Tubi movie? This sounds like a Tubi movie to me. This is a Tubi movie?
So-called man. I was very distressed, called him, and he told me that's all fake, it's pics from the past. He told me to block her number and he'd deal with the matter. He even added he loves me so much.
I'm sure he does.
So I did the opposite. I texted her and asked her what's happening. Is she with him? And she sent me recent messages of him and her conversation, and a screen recording of him telling her that I'm just someone he talks with, and we don't have any intimacy.
That's painful. That's painful. I hope you broke up with him after that, though. That's painful. That's painful. Because now what he's acknowledging is that you are technically the side girl, and she's the main because he's telling her there's nobody else. So that's painful, but I hope you broke up with him directly after that.
Her conversation, and a screen recording of him telling her that I'm just someone he talks with, and we don't have any intimacy. When we met, I told him I'm waiting till marriage, and he wouldn't be getting head, but a BJ I could do. He said he was okay with it. It broke me that he would speak to another woman, his ex.
So that's what it was.
After everything, his reputation literally became better because of me being the respected woman and gorgeous queen I am in his community, and he broke me apart. I simply blocked him.
Good.
6 months passed, we had broken up, and he moved with his girlfriend, the ex downstairs, and they've been living there for 2 months now. I have no freedom.
Hold on, Sierra. What do you mean downstairs? Sierra, hold on 1 second. Chat, am I confused? What is she trying to say here? Sierra, don't get me upset here. What do you mean that he moved with his girlfriend downstairs? What are you trying to say? We need to have crystal clarity on what you're trying to say. Do you mean that you live in a skyscraper building with 100 floors and you live on floor 100 and they move downstairs to floor number 1? Like 99 floors below you. That's what you mean, right? What, Sierra? When you say he lives downstairs, you're talking about 99 floors down, correct? Correct?
Months passed, we had broken up, and he moved with his girlfriend, the ex, downstairs, and they've been living there for 2 months now. I have no freedom. I see them sipping tea in the morning, kissing by the main gate of the complex.
When you say complex, how complex is the complex? When you say complex, how complex is the complex? Because now I'm a little bit concerned. How would it even be possible for you to see them sipping tea in the morning and kissing by the main gate every single day? How complex is the complex? You're gonna get me upset. Like.
Them sipping tea in the morning, kissing by the main gate of the complex. I'm hurting, and I have no financial means to move out. This is slowly eating me away. What do I do, Tomisin? I'm stuck, and I can't move out because my heart is holding on to all the pain these people put me through.
You need blackout curtains. If you genuinely can't move out, there's nothing you can do about them living beneath you, literally and figuratively, and you seeing them every single day. Now, here's the thing that you can do though. You can, if you know that they're out on a specific place at a specific time every single day, be smart. Don't go out there at the time that you know they're usually out there. I'm not saying live your life around them, but if you know that seeing them obviously puts you in pain, then don't go out there at the time that they're usually out there, okay? Try and make it so that you go out at a different time so you're not always seeing them. Most of the time, people are on a routine. You might see them here and there, but they're on a routine. The second half of that, Sierra, unfortunately, is going to be make it your mission to get out of that complex. I'm just going to be real with you as well. I know that that's a little bit, a farther goal, right? The short-term goal is, okay, just adjust your schedule so you're not seeing them all the time. And obviously don't try and hang out in the places where you know they're going to be. And then the second part of that goal is make it your mission to move out. If you know it's putting you in that much mental pain and agony, you need to make it your mission to move out. Like you cannot, Sierra, and this is where I have to hold you accountable. You cannot say that this thing is putting you in a lot of pain and then proceed to say, but I can't do anything about it. You can. And if it's putting you in that much pain, you would do something about it. Okay? So I know it's a little bit more of a long-term plan, but you need to start figuring out solutions to how you can at least not live there anymore. If you know that it's bothering you that much to see that every single day, truthfully and honestly. And the other aspect of that is, like I said, blackout curtains. I'm not being funny. Like blackout curtains, if you know that, just you're able to look out, because I don't know how you described it, but if you're able to look out of your window and see them, you need blackout curtains for sure. And then the second part of that is adjusting your routine and your schedule so you're not going out whenever they're going to be out in or around the complex, and you're obviously not going to the places where they tend to hang out most of the time together and seeing them all the time, right? And then from that point forward, right, in the next couple of months, 6, 7, 8 months, however long is left on your lease, start planning how you're going to move to somewhere else, anywhere else, literally any other building, literally any other complex other than the one you're at currently. And I know that that's tough, but again, if you're in a lot of mental pain and agony, what do you want me to say? Do you want me to say, oh, go to his apartment, slap him in the face, and tell him to stop dating his girlfriend? Like, that's not an option. So your only options are avoid them so that you're not continuously in pain, and then plan your way of moving out so that you don't have to continue seeing this in front of your face, right? Those are really the only choices you have left so that you're not continuously in this agony because you're seeing your ex with his new girlfriend, okay? And please, just for some advice, do not go up to them. Do not make a comment at them. Don't give them a slick look or whatever the case may be, or a catty look. If you happen to be in the elevator by chance, you open the elevator and you see them there, get out of the elevator. Or just don't get in, push the button to close, let them go down, okay? Don't contact them, don't interact with them, don't make a comment towards them, don't get in the same elevator as them. Act like they don't exist. And if they're ever in front of your face, move forward and get away from them. Because if this is putting you in that much pain, you do not need to be interacting with them in any way, shape, or form. 100%. I'll tell you that too. All right, let's go on to our next question here. This one comes from Chama in Nigeria. I think this is our first question from Nigeria. Nigeria is where I was born. Okay. So great to have a question from Nigeria. This is Chama 24 from Nigeria.
Hello, Tomisin. Good evening. So I met a guy about 3 months ago at a store, and immediately I saw him. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is cute. I said it to myself in my mind. And my problem now is that it's a bit so difficult for me to move on from him. And I think it's because I have strong chemistry and I like him more than he likes me. And also,
Chama, you know from listening to my videos and watching my channel, why would you ever push for a guy who you like him more than he likes you? You should never be pushing for that.
this is my first time getting rejected by a man. Yeah, I'm used to men actually begging me to be with me, to be in a relationship with me, to marry me and all of that. But this is...
So what you're saying is your nyash is magnificent. That's what you're saying.
the first time he's actually telling me he's not ready for a relationship. And I think the with you is silent, because I think if he really likes me, he would have moved forward with it. His reason is that he doesn't plan to get married, and that he's only going to date again when he plans to get married, and he's going to do that just a year before he gets married. He's 27, he'll be turning 28 soon, while I am 24. And from the first time I saw him, I think I really liked him. Our chemistry was strong. And a week, 2 days after that, after the day we met, he took me out. I don't want to call that a date because he didn't specify that as a date. He just said, oh, let's go and have conversations here. And it was an outdoor location. I told him I didn't like outdoor locations because I have allergies and I sweat a lot. I don't know how the weather will be. But he kind of dismissed it and said, oh, that's where he usually goes, so I don't have anything to worry about.
Do you see the problem with getting with a guy who you like more, it seems by a lot, than he likes you? And do you see the problem of, this is why I say, because girls will ask me, oh, Tomisin, why do you always advise that we never approach men? How come it's 2026, we should be able to approach men, we should be able to go up to them, we should be able to speak our mind. It's like you're trying to hold us down because you're saying that we shouldn't speak. No, it's not because of that. The reason I say don't approach men, the reason I say is don't talk to them first, the reason I say is don't start the conversation, let them start it with you, let them approach you, is because I understand that when a man really wants to speak to you, talk to you, be around you, he will approach you. When guys don't and you approach first, they take a very lazy, lackadaisical mindset and approach to the whole relationship with you, which is, you came to me, so I don't care about making an adjustment for you and what you want. We're going to do this my way because I didn't invest my time and energy in approaching you. I didn't need or want your time. You need and want my time, so we're going to do things my way, how I like them. And if you don't like that, well, you can scurry along because I never approached you in the first place. I'm telling you, this is the subconscious thing that happens when you approach a guy first. When he approaches you first and you say, okay, you want my time and energy, you're going to have to do this, this, and this. No ifs, ands, or buts. Now what happens is he must acknowledge, I did come to her, I did approach her, I am the one expressing desire for her. So if I want her, I'm going to have to make an adjustment based on what she wants and needs. Simple.
And we went on that, should I say, date, but the conversations were very shallow. He wasn't really putting a lot of effort. He wasn't really so curious and inquisitive. I asked most of the questions, but they were still very surface level because I expected him to lead. I didn't know how deep to go. The only deep question I asked was actually about marriage and what he thinks of marriage and, family dynamics and all these kind of things. So after that, we were talking until one point where I was talking about moving out from my parents' house, and he said, oh, I can just move out. I can move into his own house and get this owned by my parents. I found that very disrespectful.
This is the type of way men will talk to you when they see you as, take it or leave it. Oh, you're here, whatever. I'm not that keen on being with you. I don't really care too much to be with you. So they start talking to you with all types of disrespect, talking to you out the side of their mouth, saying crazy stuff to you. He hasn't even taken you on a proper date. Oh, you could come move into my house. Like, what does that even mean? Move into your house. He hasn't even taken you on a proper date. It's just like even a comment like that, some people might be like, but that's not even that serious. Maybe he was joking. But it's like, you haven't even taken the woman on a proper date. Why are you even making a comment, oh, come to my house? To do what?
We were talking until one point where I was talking about moving out from my parents' house, and he said, oh, I can just move out. I can move into his own house and get disowned by my parents. I found that very disrespectful and expected him to apologize on his spot
and
because
he
we were
said,
texting.
Get disowned by your parents. It's like what type of comment even is that?
Get disowned by my parents.
It's just disrespectful for the sake of being disrespectful and making a sly comment. That's why I say this is how men will treat you when you like them more, or they don't really like you that much, and they're just like, yeah, if you want to do things for me, then do things for me. Right? Like, if that's their attitude, this is how they treat you.
I found that very disrespectful and expected him to apologize on the spot because we were texting. He never did, and I never texted back. That's how we didn't talk since that time till now, August. I actually blocked him, and he said he texted me earlier in this month, but I didn't see it because he was blocked, because he saw me on the road and he texted me immediately. He saw me that, oh, I just saw you now, but I didn't see it because he was blocked, but I didn't tell him I blocked him. And also, later this month in August, I was trying to call somebody else and mistakenly dialed his number. And then he now said, oh, hi, I actually texted you earlier, but he didn't respond. Oh, I now told him one excuse that, oh, my phone was not acting up and all that. But to cut the long story short, I started having feelings for him again. Like, the whole feeling came back so strong in my chest, and it had been.
What kind of rubbish are you talking? Kilode, what's wrong with you? Chama, what are you talking about? That you all of a sudden came and a feeling came over you, and now all of a sudden you're feeling feelings for him randomly. If you're horny, just say that. Say that in your message and be honest with us. Don't talk all this nonsense about a feeling came over me that what do you mean? Were you lonely? Say that. Were you horny? Say that. What feeling came over you? You haven't spoken to the man in how long? And the last time you spoke to him, he was disrespecting you. What feeling came over you? Say you were lonely, or say that you were horny, and we'll accept that. Don't say that what feeling?
Now said, oh, hi, I actually texted you earlier, but he didn't respond. Oh, I now told him one excuse that, oh, my phone was not acting up and all that. But to cut the long story short, I started having feelings for him again. Like, the whole feeling came back so strong in my chest, and it had been so difficult to move on. I actually told him that, oh, I asked him questions 4 days after we started talking again that, oh, what does he want with me? And he was very clear that he didn't want a relationship, he didn't want any of that. And that when he met me, he was not having any grand plan of, making me a girlfriend and all that he doesn't want to date currently. And I was just so broken. It had been so difficult for me to move on and take him out of my head. I have been crying so much since, so please help me.
Chama, okay. I want to make something, I want to give you something, and I want you to ponder on it, okay? Don't just dismiss it right away. You mentioned in your message earlier that it's not like you have a problem attracting guys, okay? This is what you said. I'm going to play it back.
Yeah, I'm used to men actually begging me to be with me, to be in a relationship with me, to marry me and all of that. But this.
So the reason that I'm bringing that up is because your problem isn't being attractive to men. Your problem isn't having men desire to even want to marry you, like you said, or want to take you out, do nice things for you. So the real issue here is really not about, oh, I can't be with this guy, so it's so sad. What I really believe the issue is that the rejection you feel from this guy is eating you alive. And every time you think about him and you think about the situation again, you're reminded of the rejection, and it bothers you to your core. Not the man. It's not about the man. It's about the rejection. Because like you said, You get attention from guys all the time. They're always begging you for your time and attention. So that's become your norm that you've been living in for a long period of time. When a guy gets on his knees and says, please be with me, please, I want you so badly, you're like, oh, typical, this is just another day in the office. But now all of a sudden, when a guy that you like is not interested in you, it becomes an obsession, because not only are you not used to, you liking a guy maybe a lot, but also it's like now the first time you really like this guy, he also is very not into you. It's like a double shock. And the fact that like even in your interactions with him, you couldn't like, because you're used to, again, the guy's begging. So you're thinking, well, my charm will mesmerize him and he'll be just like the other guys. And then you're realizing as you're interacting with him, he's disrespecting you, he's not apologizing. He doesn't at all seem like he's being charmed by you. So now it's like even more shock and even more of an ego hit. And so my point being is, what I believe is really happening is you're doing this terminology that I call chasing your losses, okay? I call it chasing your losses because what will happen in a situation like this, when you feel like, oh, I've been rejected by this guy, he doesn't want me. Why doesn't he want me? Look at my fat ass. Look at my nyash. Look at how these yiddies are sitting. Look at my beautiful face. Any man would be lucky to be with me. And you start talking, you're like, what is with this guy? What's wrong with him? Do his eyes not work? Is he halfway blind? Does he need to get glasses? Is he not understanding my presence? And you start glitching internally because you're trying to figure out in your mind, why does this guy not want me? Every man wants me. And this actually, I've seen this happen to actually beautiful girls before. With beautiful girls, it happens the most because they start to glitch so much at the reality that a guy is not worshiping them that it messes with them and it messes with their ego. And then it's like, that's why you'll see some girls where they're like obsessed with a bum, because it's like this one bum that doesn't really want her and doesn't really pay her any mind. She's like confused. Why does he not pay me any mind? And then you start chasing after the fact that you're trying to just get him to validate you and want to be with you and care about you and treat you like all the other men treat you. The reason I'm saying all this, Chama, is I don't even think that if you were to actually explore a relationship with him, that you actually want him. I think you just want him to worship you like the other men worship you. So for you, it's not about chasing after him and crying over him like you mentioned at the end of your message. It's not about crying over him. It's not about crying over the situation or like I was saying earlier, I'm like, what do you miss? You miss being disrespected? You miss not being asked out on a date? You miss like him not paying you any mind, not even wanting to apologize? There's nothing to miss there. The only thing you miss, theoretically, right? The only thing you miss is the fact that you wish you could go back and use your charm to confirm to yourself that you're valuable and desirable, even to the guys that you want. Like you want to do it over so that you can prove to you that he'll worship me too. So it's an ego thing more than it's even about him. I say all that to say, don't waste any more of your time. Recognize that what you're chasing after here is the fact that you feel like your ego's been hit in the fact that he doesn't seem like he wants you. And recognize that serving your ego serves no real purpose in the long term. Because in this scenario, let's just play it all the way through. Even if you were to return back to him and you were to get him to worship you, I'm sure you probably realize you don't really even want that man in the first place. Okay? And what would probably also happen is when he does start worshiping you, he would become just as uninteresting to you as the other guys who are begging to marry you. And you'd realize all of this was just about being validated by him. It wasn't ever about actually being with him. So ponder on that, think about that, and reevaluate if what you're actually missing is even him. Okay? Let's go on to our next message. Our next message comes from Nicole. Nicole's 29 in the United States.
Hey, Tomisin. This is Anna Nicole Smith. I just wanted to call just to figure out like what I need to do.
Why do you sound like somebody I know? This makes me feel weird. Interesting.
This is Anna Nicole Smith. I just wanted to call just to figure out like what I need to do. I'm not really quite sure. I watch your videos, I go to therapy, I go to coaching and all these great things. But I don't know, me and this guy were going so well. It's been about a month and almost 2 months. And if I'm gonna be honest, we've been real nasty with each other. But It's been a little weird since earlier this.
Oh, you mean nasty like mean to each other? Sorry, I thought this was going in a different direction. Okay, Nicole. Okay.
be honest, we've been real nasty with each other, but it's been a little weird since earlier this month. Like, after we went to go see Spider-Man, he was working on some family stuff for the next 2 weeks, and we just kind of got distant, and he had all these car issues. Well, 2 weeks happened. We were supposed to go on our date that we planned earlier the month, and like, I don't know, basically I was in the area, so I went to go see him the day before, kind of thing, spontaneously, and we had an amazing night, a lot of midnight fun, right? But when I woke up later on Saturday afternoon, I noticed he was posting single posts, and I wasn't really feeling it. It made me feel so uncomfortable. I felt so sick to my stomach that
When you say single post, what do you mean by that? Like, he's posting like, oh, you know, can't wait to take my girlfriend out to a fancy restaurant for Valentine's Day, like those type of posts? Like that type?
Comfortable. I felt so sick to my stomach that I didn't even feel comfortable going on our date. I was still gonna go up until I found out my debit cards got turned off, and so I was so hurt. And I told him, I was like, hey, you know, you're kind of letting me know about this date, and it's 4 p.m. Like, what's going on? My cards are off. Like, I was kind of freaking out. And we ended up not doing the date Saturday, and so Sunday he hit me up. I said I was sick. I wasn't entirely sick, but I am kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got them symptoms, so I need to be abstinent again.
Oh no. Them type of symptoms. Do you see why I say it's only a hot girl summer? What happens to the other 3 seasons? What'd I tell you?
Entirely sick, but I am kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got them symptoms, so I need to be abstinent again. But at the same time, too, if I'm going to be honest, like, I feel bad blowing him off Saturday and Sunday. But at the same time, he didn't make me feel safe that I could be with him without a debit card. He didn't make me feel safe like I could be with him going through what I'm going through. Like, I'm not really sure how to feel about that. And when he was going through his car issues and we didn't see each other for a few weeks, I kind of backed off because I need to see you. Why am I not seeing you for a few weeks, you know? So tonight I'm supposed to have Bible study with him because I went no contact. With him.
Okay. You're putting me in a tough position here. When you say Bible study, what type of studying are we talking about? Because, okay, I'm not trying to be blasphemous. I'm just saying, when I hear the word we're doing Bible study, it makes me feel like he's coming to get his hair braided. He's coming to get a retwist. It makes me feel the same way. For those of you that know, when I say he's coming to get his hair braided or he's coming to get a retwist, you know. For those of you that know, you know. So I'm concerned when you say Bible study. I'll be honest with you. I'm concerned.
So tonight I'm supposed to have Bible study with him because I went no contact with him Monday, Tuesday, I think maybe even Sunday, or later on that night Sunday. Later on that night Sunday, I was like, good night. You know, I was very dry. But Monday, Tuesday, I have been no contact. And if I'm going to be honest, today I called him. Yeah, I know I messed up. I was going to be dry for whatever reason, but I didn't want to be avoidant. I had to approach him as a friend because, I don't know, that's my homie. Like, that's my homie that be giving me the D.
Let me get up. Nicole, because you're all over the place. Nicole, Nicole, come on. See, and this is exactly why, did I,
And so
stop, Nicole. Didn't I tell you all? I said, Bible study sounds kind of strange to me. The way you're saying it, the way you're enunciating the words Bible study, it feels like a retwist. It feels like a braid up. It doesn't feel like you're going to be studying the Bible. Okay? It feels like instead of reading the Bible, he's going to be reading your body. I told you it was a feeling, and now you're talking about he's my friend that gives me the D. Let me take a break. Oh my God, Nicole. Oh. See, I told you, I have a sixth sense for this stuff. Talking about Bible study, this really a retwist. Yeah, you're studying the Bible, all right. This not right. if you guys were going to do something like that, at least put it underneath a different terminology. Don't do Bible study. Come on. Like, do, oh, she's coming to get a retwist. Oh, he's coming to get a braid up. Even bring out fake clippers and pretend like you're going to line him up. Oh, he needs a lineup. Oh, you're going to help him. You're going to give him a fade. Make it something like that. You know what I mean? Don't make Bible study the yeah, we come in to do Bible study, but low-key I'm gonna study your body too. Like, come on, don't do that for Bible study. Come on, at least not for Bible study. Nicole, let's go backwards here.
Say I have been no contact, and if I'm gonna be honest, today I called him. Yeah, I know I messed up. I was gonna be dry for whatever reason, but I didn't want to be avoidant. I had to approach him as a friend because I don't know, that's my homie. Like, that's my homie that be giving me the D. And so yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not sure how to feel about dating content creators, influencers. Like, that wasn't my thing, but I kind of fell in love with this person.
Okay, sorry, this got a little bit weird. Just for those of you that might think something weird is going on, I said at the beginning, you sound like someone I know, and you're saying dating content creators. This is not me. I assure you all, Nicole is not talking about me, because this is going to sound very strange that I happen to say, oh, I feel like I know you from somewhere. And then you're saying dating content creators. This is not about me. I just want you all to know so that there's no confusion, because now some of you are going to be like, what's going on here? To make that clear, this is okay. This is awkward a little bit. I didn't know you were gonna say that. I wouldn't have said that earlier if you were gonna say that, because now everyone's gonna think that this is like some sort of like sick joke that's going on here. This is not about me. I don't know what content creator this is. Okay, go on.
And if I'm gonna be honest, today I called him. Yeah, I know I messed up. I was gonna be dry for whatever reason, but I didn't want to be avoidant. I had to approach him as a friend because I don't know, that's my homie. Like, that's my homie that be giving me the D. And so yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not sure how to feel about dating content creators, influencers. Like, that wasn't my thing, but I kind of fell in love with this person, the D. And then also, like, I'm not really sure, like, if I need to continue talking to him. Like, I really like him, but I feel like I maybe messed up the energy because he was a little dry when I called him, but he did agree to the Bible study, so we gonna study the Lord's word today. And
Nicole, stop. Everyone spam in the chat. Stop. Nicole, stop. You are on timeout. Nicole is on timeout. Nicole, you're on timeout. Stop. If this man is going to beat your walls in, don't call it Bible study. Stop. Okay? If you're going to do what you're going to do, call it something else. Stop saying we're going to do Bible study and study the Lord. Lord, stop. Don't do that, okay? I'm not saying you can't tell us what's going on. Stop using the terminology Bible study to mask what you're actually going to be doing. Even if he comes over and he's initially studying the Bible, we know what's going to happen after that. Stop. Shame on you. Okay? No more of that. No more of that from you. You've been a bad girl.
just like, that wasn't my thing, but I kind of fell in love with this person, the D. And then also, like, I'm not really sure, like, if I need to continue talking to him. Like, I really like him, but I feel like I maybe messed up the energy because he was a little dry when I called him, but he did agree to the Bible study, so we gonna study the Lord's word today. And I'm excited for that, you know, because I've been feeling that I need more God in my relationship with him anyway.
But you don't have God in your relationship with this man, though. He's beating your walls in. Where's the God in the relationship there? The only God in between you and this man is when you say, oh my God, when he's inside you. So let's cut that out, Nicole, right? Like, I'm not saying you can't have a godly relationship and have a relationship that brings you closer to God, but let's not pretend like this is the relationship. Like, let's be serious.
But what you think? You think I should continue talking to him? You think I should? He might not get no coochie out of me, but like, what do you think I should do? Like, help me, please.
No, this is done. No, Nicole. There's no purpose to any of this going on. And the worst part about this is truly the worst part, is that this some sort of sick joke where you guys are masking your sexual friends with benefits relationship under some sort of umbrella of we're meeting up to do Bible study. It's very weird. It's just very weird. It's very strange, and it's very confusing and unnecessary. Like, just stop doing that. Stop all of this. All the stuff you're doing, just stop, please. Let's start living our lives with intention. I'm not saying, okay, having sex with a man is not a crime, but let's have sex with a man you're building a relationship with. You're not doing that with this friend, okay? The other part of that is, if you want a relationship that's going to bring you closer to God, that's perfectly fine. Start building relationships that bring you closer to God, though. Not building relationships where the guy's having sex with you and you guys are doing a bunch of stuff. We're not even talking about doing stuff outside of marriage, because that's already technically a sin. We're even talking about you're doing stuff not even boyfriend and girlfriend, at least. And you're talking about finding a relationship that's going to bring you closer to God. Nicole, let's be for real. What do you actually want here? Because, like, I can help you, but what do you actually want? Because there comes a certain point where it's like, either you're taking it serious or not. If you're talking about, oh, this is my friend and he gives me the D, oh, I don't know if I want to give him some coochie, and you're messing around, like, are you serious or no? Do you want a serious relationship or no? Or are you trying to have a hot girl summer? If you want to have a hot girl summer, just say that and be honest about that. Don't say that, I don't know, maybe I don't know if I feel like giving him some coochie, but at the same time, I want a relationship that's going to bring me closer to God. You're never going to get anywhere. Decide where you want to be. You can be a hot girl, right? But you'll face hot girl consequences, and don't be surprised when all the things that hot girls have to deal with the other 3 seasons, you have to deal with as well. But if you want a relationship that will bring you closer to God, you can do that, but let's actually do that. Let's not fake Bible study and have sex with people. You're not going to get any closer to God doing that. In fact, you probably go further away by doing that. Okay, Nicole? Like, I really mean that. Like, you need to start deciding what it is you want to be, who you want to be, and based on who you want to be, what you should actually be doing based on that. Because I don't have to tell you that having sex with a man who's not your boyfriend and really has not expressed at all that he's like super that serious about you, and there's a lot of confusion here, it doesn't make any sense. Right? Like, I also think, as it relates to earlier where you were talking about like your intuition telling you to not go out with the man, if that's what your intuition is telling you, then read your intuition. But don't say, oh, my intuition was telling me not to go out with the man or see him or go on the date, but my intuition's been telling me to have sex with him. Again, that makes no sense. There's a lot of flip-flopping in your own mind right now, which I also think is messing you up, because you're not able to decide what you want. So you're not even able to deliver to the men that you're dating what they should expect or what standards that they need to meet. Because you're just all over the place like, today I want to have sex and get fucked and get my, coochie busted down. Then the next day you want to do Bible study. Then the next day you want to be a saint. Then the next day you want to be an SLUT. Then it's like, okay, like, who are you trying to be here? Be that person and be consistent with that person. These drastic swings in who you want to be every day is not only going to be confusing for you, but it's going to be confusing to the men that you date, because they're not even going to know what you're actually expecting here. They're going to be like, bro, are you trying to be outside? Are you trying to drive the boat? Are you trying to get down with this Casamigos and this hen dog? Or are you trying to be in church taking communion? Which one is it? Decide that and then come back to me, send me another message. Okay? All right, let's go on to our next message here. This one comes from Arushi in India, who's 28.
I feel like I've become too emotionally involved to look at my relationship. There are a lot of things I love about him, but he tends to shut down whenever things become emotionally intense. Instead of talking through a problem, he often withdraws, becomes cold, stops communicating, switches his phone off, or goes on flight mode, and sometimes blocks me. He can need space when they are overwhelmed, but the way he takes space makes me feel abandoned and completely shut out. I'm someone who needs communication, reassurance, and emotional clarity, so this affects me much more deeply. We deal with conflict very differently. When something goes wrong, I want to talk about it, understand what happened, express how I feel, and find a solution. He often feels overwhelmed by these conversations and wants to escape from them. So the more anxious and hurt I become, the more I try to reach out, and the more he withdraws. Then his withdrawal makes me even more anxious, which makes me reach out even more. It becomes a cycle that neither of us seems to know how to break. I also struggle with the uncertainty he sometimes expresses about our relationship. He has said that he is sure about me as a person, but isn't sure about us because our attachment styles are different. I understand the logic behind what he is saying, but emotionally it hurts because it makes me question.
Anytime a guy tells you he's unsure about you, you tell him, great, thank you so much for telling me. I will not make you unsure anymore by not being with me. That way you can be sure that you are single. I said this earlier. You should have absolutely no tolerance for men who are not excited to be with you. Okay? When you're dating a man, he should be excited to be with you, excited to spend time with you, excited to have you in his life. Anything outside of that, do not waste your time in a relationship like that. Because Arushi, you will find yourself extremely frustrated because you'll feel like, why don't you do these things for me? Why don't you put an effort into the relationship? Why do you never go above and beyond? Why do you never want to do things for me in this relationship and with me in this relationship? It's because he's not excited to be with you. A lot of these problems stem from the root that you're choosing to be in a relationship with someone who's not even excited to be with you. And that's why, your boyfriend should never be telling you, I'm unsure about us because of our attachment styles and because they're different. People are allowed to have different attachment styles and you can still be in a successful relationship. Just like people are allowed to have different love languages and you can still be in a successful relationship. It's a decision on his part to say, okay, we have different attachment styles. Let's figure out how to service our different attachment styles. We don't have to change who we are, but if you need these things and I need these things, how do we come to a compromise and an understanding based on the things that we need so that you can also get what you want out of this relationship and feel somewhat satisfied, but I can also be genuine to myself and get what I want as well in this relationship and be satisfied. And it might not be absolutely perfect where we both get everything that we want, but it can definitely be a situation where we both get enough that we feel like this relationship is working and the other person is trying and we feel like we're not starving in the relationship. That's what someone does when they really want to be with you and they're excited to be with you and they're excited to figure out the challenges of a relationship, because no relationship's going to be perfect. It's just unrealistic. So when he tells you, yeah, you know what, I'm thinking about us breaking up, I'm thinking we might not be the best together, you tell him, great. I don't need you to tell me twice that you don't want me around. Once you tell me the first time that you're unsure, I want you to be sure single, right? For sure you're single. And then when you feel like you're sure about whether or not you want to be with me, then maybe we could possibly, depending on how I feel, re-entertain the idea of being in a relationship. Never stay in a relationship with a man who's telling you he's unsure about you. Because when he cheats on you, when he lies to you, when he disrespects you, he'll tell you it's because he's unsure about the relationship.
And whether he genuinely sees a future with me. Sometimes I feel deeply loved and cared for, and other times his behavior makes me feel like I'm not important enough for him to communicate with me or work through difficult moments. What makes this even harder is that I don't think he is a bad person. I know his good side. I know how caring, loving, supportive, and wonderful he can be when things are good. That is probably why I find it so difficult to simply walk away. I'm not holding on to someone who has only treated me badly. I'm
not saying that though. The reality though is, if this guy is having questions in his mind about whether or not you guys should be together, let him not question anything. Be by himself until he gets to... See, this is the thing, or the problem I should say with men. They can only really appreciate you when you're gone. If you continue to stay hoping that he will one day appreciate you, going from this point to now all of a sudden appreciating you, it'll never happen. The only time anything will even be able to possibly change is when you're completely gone, completely out of his life. And then through that, he can realize, oh, so this is what it feels like to be without Arushi. Damn, I do miss our conversations. I do miss our dates. I do miss our interactions. I do miss her presence. Now, all of a sudden, he comes to his enlightened moment where he's like, you know what? I am sure about her, because now that I know what it's like to not be with her, and I know how miserable and gray life is without her, now I know that I want to be with her. And so because of that, I want to make the things work and address the situations that she was discussing before. It's the same reason why as soon as you break up with a man, and you decide that you no longer want to be with him, you no longer need him, all of a sudden he's super ready to make all the adjustments that you're asking him to make the entire relationship.
Onto the person I know he can be and the relationship we have when things are healthy. I'm becoming emotionally exhausted. I don't want a relationship where every disagreement makes me scared that everything is ending. I don't want to constantly analyze his silence, wonder whether he needs space or is losing feelings, or feel like I have to chase someone just to get basic communication. I also know that I have my own issues. I can become anxious, overthink, seek reassurance, and sometimes react emotionally when I feel ignored. I'm not saying everything is his fault. I know my reactions can contribute to the cycle too. I just feel stuck between loving him and questioning whether the way we function together is actually healthy for both of us. I don't know if this is something that can genuinely improve with understanding, communication, and effort.
No, it doesn't. Because you're assuming, hypothetically, right? Communication and effort starts with someone actually wanting to hear what you have to say when it relates to communication. And the effort part is about someone who actually wants to be with you. That's the only way they would put in effort in fighting through the challenges that happen in relationships, overcoming them, and then coming out on the other side with your partner. All of that stems from the root issue, which is if he doesn't have a desire deeply to be with you and be in a relationship with you and build with you, he's not going to be able to communicate with you. He's not going to be able to put effort into this relationship, and you will consistently be feel like you're not getting what you need out of the relationship. So the key is you need to exit his life, walk away, and you need to let that period where he's by himself without you, let that play on his mind and have him think things and feel things and come to his own realization of how important you are now that he realizes what it's like when you're gone. Because again, the men will never be able to appreciate you when you stay in their life. Never. Just telling you the truth. If he's already underappreciating you and neglecting you, he will not be able to properly appreciate you by spontaneous combustion if you stay with him. The only way something happens is if you walk out of his life completely. I mean, radio silence, he doesn't hear from you. When I say he doesn't hear from you, I'm not saying you have to ghost your boyfriend. What I'm saying is make it clear, like, hey, I'm not going to be in a relationship with someone who's unsure about me. I'm not going to be in a relationship with someone who can't communicate to me or put an effort into the relationship. And so I'm done continuing to beg you for that. I'm walking away from this relationship. Do not contact me unless you are 100% sure of what you want and the fact that you actually want to be in this relationship and put forth effort into this relationship. If you're still undecided while you're a single person or you're on the fence or you don't feel like you can give me that, don't bother contacting me. Don't ask me to hang out. Don't text me. Don't FaceTime me. Don't even like my pictures on Instagram. Okay? Let's go on to our next question. Why is it so cold in my place? This is Kiona, or is it Kiana? I'm going to assume it's Kiana, just spelt in an interesting way. 27 in the United States.
Hi, this is my first time catching a live. I have a guy friend who is actually someone I had an online affair with through a virtual platform. He has a girlfriend on the virtual platform and a different one in real life.
Oh my God.
With a virtual platform. He has a girlfriend on the virtual platform and a different one in real life.
Stop. Kiana, why have you done this to me? Why would you start your message off like this? I want to get up and take a stretch, but I feel like you're going to have to make me take a stretch and, oh my God. Let's just keep going. Kiana, you had an affair with a man online. Okay.
This is my first time catching a live. I have a guy friend who is actually someone I had an online affair with through a virtual platform. He has a girlfriend on the virtual platform and a different one in real life. We acknowledge.
Okay, this is I genuinely need to ask the chat, what does any of this even mean? What does this even mean? What is this virtual platform? I wish you would have just said it. And what does it even mean to have a girlfriend on a virtual platform and a different one what does that even mean? I'm genuinely confused, Kiana. How do you have a virtual girlfriend and then a different real life girlfriend? What platforms even allow you to do that? I don't even understand what type of virtual platform would work like that. Someone said jerkmate. Let's go on with this message, man. This is
Line
foolishness.
affair with through a virtual platform. He has a girlfriend on the virtual platform and a different one in real life. We acknowledged and have recently acknowledged this unexplainable connection we have. Intellectual conversation, emotional connection, etc. He says he doesn't even feel the way that he feels about me, about either of them.
Come on. Come on, chat. Kiana, this is not real. Kiana, this is not real. You're talking, okay. He's talking about you as if he's met you. Let me be very clear for the chat and everyone else. They have never met in person, not one time. At least from the way you're writing out this message, Kiana, you have not mentioned meeting in person. So he's telling you that you guys have intellectual conversation and an emotional connection, and that he doesn't feel the way that he feels about his two other girlfriends. So this guy actually has two other girlfriends. You're the third. And he's telling you he feels totally different about you, not having met you in person before, than these other two girlfriends, one of which is virtual and one is real. Oh, let me stretch my back out, because this is like, it's like all the tension goes to my back. You guys are every day. I come back to help, but you guys definitely, it's like a war. Okay. It's like a war. All right. Oh boy. So we have to recontextualize what we're even seeing here, because Kiana's actually technically girlfriend number 3. Okay, she's not even girlfriend number 2. Okay.
Feel the way that he feels about me, about either of them, and says I scare him because the women like me don't stay, so he chooses boring women instead. Eventually left the situation, but a year later I thought I was healed enough to be friends. We both thought, I guess. However, after being cool again for almost 2 months, recently we crossed boundaries again. He was dissatisfied in his relationship that he claims he's staying in to atone for cheating last year and getting yelled at and broken up with on the regular.
Are you supposed to feel sorry for him?
I was also dissatisfied with my roster. Push came to shove, we had phone sex, and since that day it has been rough. A lot of crying for me, realizing he's never going to choose me and never has, and yet he says he really wants me to be friends with him and be in his life. I don't want to have to block him. How can I set my boundaries and move on without feeling any sort of way?
Stop. Kiana, just stop all of this foolishness. You never met this man in real life. Okay, so that's number 1. I'm not saying that your feelings aren't real, like the things that you're feeling aren't real, but you also have not met this man in real life. You need to get a grip here. I really mean this. Block him not for him, block him for yourself and your own sanity. This is because he's obviously not going to pull up on you in real life, so that's a plus. This is like a complete monumental waste of your time. Kiana, you are 27, right? In your prime years. You live in the United States. I don't know what city, but there's lots to explore in the United States. Even if you just stayed in the United States, there's so many states and things to see and visit and discover that are way more important than a virtual connection. Okay? Kiana, please get a grip. Block this man for your own sanity so that you can start building real, genuine, in-person relationships and friendships. You will, when you are, getting into your 50s, you will regret so much the time that you were young that you didn't go out and explore the world and do things that you're passionate about and were fun for you. I'm not saying, whatever, if you enjoy playing games and things like that, I'm not going to make fun of you if you enjoy playing games. That's fine. But what I also want you to do is I want you to, during the time where you're in your prime, go and find people that you connect with in real life. Enough of these virtual meetings, because they're sucking the life out of you. Like you're really worked up about someone you have never once met in person. You don't know what he's doing, right? You talked about him having a girlfriend in real life. That could be his wife in real life. You don't know. That honestly, you don't even know for sure, because you didn't mention having even video calls and stuff with him. So do we even know for sure if that's actually him behind the profile picture? That could be someone totally different. My point being is, stop with these virtual relationships that are taking up so much of your time and energy. I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm trying to give you advice that I want to genuinely help you, so that one, you can take your mind off this guy when you start building real in-person relationships, because you'll realize they're way more intense and they're way better. But number two, right, I want you to start getting into the habit of not allowing yourself to fall into this trap, because it can happen with this guy, it can happen with other guys, where you start chit-chatting with someone online and then you get sucked into the chit-chat online, you're never meeting them in person, and then nothing ever comes from it. It's just a big monumental waste of your time, right? Like, again, I don't want you wasting your time. Your time should be used sparingly, and when it does get used, it should be purposeful. So when you're dating a guy or when you're getting to know a guy, it should clearly be for the purpose of building a real life, in-person romantic relationship, and not virtual conversation. Because like we talked about earlier, he has a girlfriend. Actually, he has two. He has one real one and one virtual one, and you're like girlfriend number 3. So he's gonna have lots of fun with or without you. So he doesn't feel any ways about this, because he's just gonna go back to his real girlfriend. But you are the one that actually suffers building this virtual connection with him, because when he breaks up with you or he doesn't talk to you anymore, he goes back to his real girlfriend, you're like, what do I do now? And this has all been a waste of my time up until this point, because we're not even gonna end up together. Turn off the virtual platform and let's get you outside, okay? You can even listen to my show while you're outside as a way of giving yourself confidence to go outside and be outside and enjoy outside. Lots of amazing stuff to do outside of your house. The more virtual, the worse it gets. I'm just being real with you, especially for you in this situation. I'm not gonna lie. All right, let's go on to Sarah. Sarah's 22 in Canada. Okay, let's see what Sarah has to say.
Hi. I'd really appreciate advice, because I'm starting to question whether my relationship is supportive or whether I'm being slowly pushed into a life I didn't choose. I'm 22 and in my final year of university studying finance. My boyfriend is 31, well-established, and we live in the same city. He's affectionate, generous, and talks seriously about marrying me. He says he wants to give me a comfortable life and that I would never have to worry about money. The issue is that he wants us to move in together now. I said I would rather wait until I graduate, find work, and can
Hold on. Let's go back to see, how long has it been? Did you mention how long it's been? Boyfriend 31, same city, comfortable. Oh, you didn't mention how long it's been that you guys have been dating. At least I didn't see it.
Have to worry about money. The issue is that he wants us to move in together now. I said I would rather wait until I graduate, find work, and can contribute financially. He told me that was unnecessary, that a man should provide, and that if I truly trusted him, I would let him. Since then, every disagreement seems to come back to university. If I stay late at the library, he says I am treating him like an afterthought.
So wait, so he doesn't just want you to move in with him. He wants you to move in with him and basically stop pursuing your degree. That's kind of what it sounds like you're saying.
Decline a weekend trip because I have an exam. He says I am choosing a piece of paper over building a real future. When I met
This is manipulation.
Choosing a piece of paper over building a real future. When I mention applying for jobs after graduation, he tells me I don't need to prove anything and asks why I am so determined to make life harder for myself. He never says, quit university. In fact, he says he supports me graduating.
That doesn't make sense, because you're saying that he says he supports you graduating, but just back here, you said that he also says, and I quote,
he says I am choosing a piece of paper over building a real future.
That doesn't sound like someone who's in support of you getting your degree. You don't speak on that said degree by referencing it as a piece of paper if you actually support the person in graduation. You see how that doesn't make any sense?
He never says, quit university. In fact, he says he supports me graduating, but he wants me to move in first, depend on him while I finish, and then see whether working is still necessary once we are married. I'm worried that I will start making small compromises to keep the peace and one day realize that my choices were never really mine anymore. The twist is that he says he wants to take care of me, but I'm beginning to wonder whether the first step in taking care of me is making sure I no longer have the option to take care of myself.
Bingo! You smart girly, Sarah. You smart girly. Couldn't have said it better myself.
How would you assess this? Is this a genuine difference in values, or are these signs of financial control disguised as love?
You a smart cookie. You're a very smart cookie. This is actually a manipulation tactic disguised as I'm a provider man. Because here's what you have to understand about said provider men. If you are making so much money, money's coming out of your ass, that you're like, hey, beautiful woman, you don't have to work anymore. You don't have to do anything anymore. You can just be a stay-at-home mom. Think about this logically, though. If he's making so much money, money's coming out of his eyeballs, that it doesn't matter whether you work or not, is it really that big of a deal if you do? Is it really that big of a deal if you decide you want to finish your degree? I mean, the money's coming out of his ass anyways. So if you don't work, that's fine. But if you do work, that's also fine. Couldn't he theoretically, let's say you did have children, since he's making so much money out of his asshole, couldn't he just hire a maid? If you're too tired to do work around the house because you're going to university, you got all these jobs and all this other stuff, couldn't he just hire a cleaner and a cook and a chef and all this other stuff? If you don't have the time, since money's coming out of his asshole? My point being is, it's one thing to say I'm a provider man and, I want my wife to be a stay-at-home mom. It's another thing to say, no. Because I want my wife to be a stay-at-home mom, you need, before we've even had children and before we're even married, you need to stop going to university, even though you say that he hasn't technically said that, he basically has implied that. And then you also need to stop looking for a job after you graduate university. How does that make sense? I'm going to tell you exactly what to rebuttal next time. I don't think that this is really a relationship you should pursue, but if you do, I'm going to tell you exactly what to rebuttal. You tell him in the most mature way possible, or you could say it petty, it doesn't matter. I am not going to compromise my future for someone who I'm not married to. Simple. And you let him know, I don't have any issues with you. I don't have any issues with the lifestyle that you want. And, that sounds great, right? Like that you have enough money and stuff, resources to be able to take care of your woman. However, as great as that is, we are not married. And I'm not going to make compromises about my future when realistically you could break up with me via text and it would be over. And then I would have to pick up the pieces and figure out my life from wherever I left off because you no longer want to be with me. If I'm going to be a good partner, this is what I'm saying you should be talking to him and let him know. If I'm going to be a good partner to you, the first thing I must do in order to be a good partner is take care of myself. Because when I take care of myself, that's the only way I'm going to even be able to bring a good version of me to the relationship. And if you can't understand how it's irresponsible to put my hands in the future of someone who can literally break up with me via text, well, then we just don't understand each other and we should end this relationship. Because I know that in my heart, the man that I will end up with can understand the idea of me also pursuing my own goals and the things that are important to me, and will allow me to do that in the process of us building our relationship, and not force me to make a decision on or to cut off the things that are important to me to be with them. And also won't make me feel guilty about that. So if that's not you, perfectly fine. Go find someone else who will do things exactly how you want them to be done, and I will find someone else who does them my way. And I'll be just as happy either way. Take it or leave it. I know that kind of sounds scary because you're gonna be like, oh my God, like, am I actually gonna say that? You actually want me to say that to that guy? Yes. Practice it in the mirror if you need to, because when you say that, you'll have so much power now. Because you're letting him know, you're getting no compromises. I am not married to you. You're not my husband. There are no compromises coming for you. If you want some sort of compromise, the only way that we would even have a discussion of that is if we were married. That's number one. And we're not. So there's no compromises. And if that doesn't work for you, or you feel offended by that, or you feel like you can't be with me because I'm choosing my future over you, perfect. Go be with someone else and I won't feel any ways about it. And what will happen, he only has one of two choices at that point. Either just walk away from the relationship because he doesn't feel the same way as you, which is fine. That's a win for you. You wasted less time on a man who you weren't going to be with anyways. Or number two, he fixes up and realizes you deserve to be able to have autonomy and have identity and be able to pursue the things that are important to you without compromising all of your future just because he wants to have a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home wife. You're not even a wife. Stay-at-home mom, you're not even a mom. So none of that even makes sense. You're going to stay at home and do what? Stay at home and shop all day? Stay at home and stare at the wall all day? That's where it gets weird. You know, I'm telling you, some of these men, they get on a power trip. Even if they're making money, they get on a power trip where it's like he literally wants to have you like in a cage. Because this is the thing too, right? Think about this as well. Let's say, let's just say hypothetically you stop pursuing your degree. And let's say hypothetically you also stop looking for a job and you literally just go and live with him. Where's your money coming from? Oh, you know, he's really rich, so he can, you know, he can provide and he can do the, okay, so how would he actually provide? What does that look like? What a lot of people don't think about when they think about having a provider man. What are the logistics of the actual providing? Because the money can't just appear in your bank account. If a man's going to be providing, how will you have access to the money? Are you an authorized user on his credit card? Is he giving you an allowance every week or every 2 weeks? If so, how much is that allowance? And is he actually prepared to stick to that on a regular basis? Or, this is what usually happens when these men get you to agree to this, is they trap you in their house. They tell you to stop doing everything that you were pursuing before. You stop it. Now you have no access to money. And you want to know what they say? Oh, when you need money, just ask me. But then what ends up happening? You're sitting in the house. You can't leave unless you ask him because you don't have money to leave. You don't have access to a car. If you want to get an Uber or some sort of transportation, you need to ask him. If you want to hang out with friends, you don't have money to pay for drinks, you need to ask him. If you want to go see your family, you don't have access to transportation to them or go stay at their place or to get a hotel, you need to ask him. Everything in your life now that you would be getting done for yourself, you need to ask him. Subsequently, you need to let him know exactly what you're doing, exactly when you're doing it, exactly for how long you're doing it. And he's going to give you just enough money to be able to do that if he decides to give you money for it. And so that means that when you leave the house, you are extremely limited to just being able to do exactly what you guys agreed upon. And if you are ever to come to him with something that he does not want you to do, let's say you're hanging out with a friend that he doesn't approve of, like a girlfriend that he doesn't approve of, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to get any money to go out with that girlfriend because he doesn't see that as a proper allocation of his funds to give you money to go hang out with a girl that he doesn't want you hanging out with. Just that fast, you're now in a situation where you have no control over your own life. And every decision you make is a decision that he has to make for you because you have no access to resources to make any decisions for yourself. So now you have zero autonomy and he can decide what's good for you and what's bad for you. You see how quickly this can turn into a nightmare? This is why I say, don't even think about doing any of this for him. And if he really wants to be with you that badly, he will figure out how to get married to you, put some papers in place that make it so that if he decides to switch up on your agreement, he has to pay for it. Okay? All right, that's the show for today. You guys took me on a roller coaster of emotions today. Today's Thursday, right? I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll be answering more of your questions if it doesn't take too much out of me. And we will join back on the show and go through all of these things and learn these lessons together tomorrow, okay? So I'll see you all, you beautiful people, tomorrow. We'll have a great show. In the meantime, I will leave this show up for you guys to watch, since you guys enjoy rewatching them and getting your information from them. I hope you get your information from them. And so I will see you, all you beautiful people, tomorrow, sometime in the afternoon, probably a little bit earlier, okay? For those of you who want to join my community, the link is in my description. For those of you who want to ask me a private question that you don't want to be on the show, you can also ask that by the link in my description. And for those of you that want to, what's the other one? Get one-on-one coaching. The link is in my description. Did I already say that? Yeah. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow.